And through February 28th, they're offering you a 15% discount on winter service labor or half-off pickup and delivery within a 25-mile radius. Don't wait until spring and get caught in a backlog with all the folks who didn't get their mowers serviced over the winter. Save time and money by taking advantage of Maximum Outdoor Equipment's Oregon Parts Winter Service Special, which ends February 28th. See Winter Service Special details online at MaximumOutdoor.com or give them a call at 943-0201. Maximum Outdoor Equipment is the small box store that knows mowers, just south of Kellogg on West Street.
Maximum service, maximum value, maximum outdoor equipment.
This is a Steckline communication station, K273CX, FM 102.5 and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by MJ's Truck Repair of Mound Ridge, Kansas. Sales and service of the big rigs and trailers, plus ag diesel equipment repair on and off the farm.
There's only one game left in this college football season. That would be the national championship game this next Monday. And yesterday, a whole slate of college football bowl games capped off by the two biggest with the Rose Bowl and Ohio State defeating Washington 28-23 and the Sugar Bowl as Texas out of the Big 12 knocked off the number 5 team in the country, Georgia, 28-21. Now we set our sights on college basketball. It doesn't get any bigger to start off the conference season for the Jayhawks than tonight as the number 23rd ranked Oklahoma Sooners come to Allen Fieldhouse for an 8 p.m. tip. A game that can be heard on 1410 AM 93.9 FM KGSO. From the sports desk, I'm Doug Downs.
Truck owners, Toppers Plus Truck Accessories has the tonneau cover for you. Protect your truck bed and valuables with a locking truck lid. Choose from hard, soft, folding, or retractable covers. Toppers Plus has top brands like Lear, Undercover, Backflip, X-Stang, Roll and Lock, and more. Work or play, make your truck work for you. Toppers Plus, 5511 West Central in Wichita or toppersplusks.com.
Make your truck work for you! Hey, how you doing?
You are experiencing an out-of-breath conversationalist. When you or someone you know tries to hold a conversation after doing something active. Out-of-breath conversations are uncomfortable, and another reason why you should join the YMCA. Right now, pay no joiner fee at the Greater Wichita YMCA. Out-of-breath conversations. What's your reason why? Find it at ymcawichita.org.
If you wear eyeglasses or just getting your first pair, did you know there's an eyewear shop that has 45 years of experience? Kent and Roxy Spectacle Shop has been framing faces for over 4 decades. The Spectacle Shop has hundreds of frames, including the exciting exclusive lines of Woo, Roger, and LA Eyeworks, and the State brand made right here in the USA. Your lenses? Kent and Roxy take seriously the quality and precision of your corrected eyesight. Be independent, take a bold step for optical freedom, come see the difference for yourself. Visit Kent and Roxy Spectacle Shop, 306 North Rock Road, Wichita.
Wichita RV is celebrating its 30th year anniversary by bringing you the Wichita RV and Outdoor Show January 16th through the 20th at Hartman Arena. Don't be fooled by pretenders. Shop this year's Wichita RV and Outdoor Show and take advantage of the best savings of the year on a huge selection of new and used RVs in every price range. Great deals and special financing only during the show. Free admission for military, first responders, and children under 12. Wichita RV and Outdoor Show at Hartman Arena January 16th to the 20th.
Wichita Family Dental knows there's some things in life that you just have to wait for.
Is this light ever gonna turn green?
But when you're feeling dental pain, getting relief shouldn't be something you have to wait for.
'Cause I haven't got time for the pain.
At Wichita Family Dental, if you've got pain this morning and call before noon, you'll be seen today, guaranteed. Wichita Family Dental, East and West. Call 263-GRIN. That's 263-GRIN.
The latest news from the Big Talker, KQAM.
An effort to end the partial government shutdown today.
President Trump hosting congressional leaders at the White House Wednesday. They'll get a border security briefing and a chance to move toward ending the partial government shutdown. But Karim Damarjian with the Washington Post says that will be tough.
It's going to probably be far more complicated to reach a compromise than to just say, okay, what's the number in between both of our standing points? It's not just about dollars. It's about negotiations, getting something for something else.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
In a tweet yesterday, President Trump wrote, "Let's make a deal." The brother of an American arrested in Russia on espionage charges says he was visiting Moscow over the holidays to attend a wedding when he suddenly disappeared. Paul Whelan is a retired Marine. He was arrested Friday. U.S. Customs and Border Protection says its agents fired tear gas across the Mexico border in Tijuana early Tuesday because about 150 migrants were trying to bust through the border fence. I'm Christopher Cruz.
Your local weather on KQAM, brought to you by Jewelry Savers. Conveniently located off K96 on Greenwich Road. The Kansas trusted jewelry source since 1971. Jewelry Savers.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM for this morning. Mostly cloudy as we head into 2019. High near 23, wind chill down to 0, wind gusts over 25 miles an hour. Partly cloudy and 13 for tonight. Tomorrow mostly sunny and 33, partly cloudy and 21 tomorrow night. I'm Amp Harold, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 6:05, it's currently 22 degrees.
Morning news with Rick Everett, here on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM KQAM. It's time for Reason.
The elderly and disabled people obviously need it. Let's take care of them. That's the purpose of the program. We want to take care of people who honestly, truly need it with this program. Expanding it does not help them in any way, shape, or form because they're already covered. We're expanding it to overload the system to put people on it that don't need to be on it, and then wonder why the system fails. And then say we're not expanding it enough.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Then I get on my knees and pray. We don't get fooled again. Don't get fooled again.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. It is 2019. It is a brand new year. It is a brand new week. Let's have a little fun. Let's get into it. Let's start doing our politicalness the way that we've been looking forward to. Welcome into the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. We are on TV, KGPT TV channel 2610, also on YouTube Live, youtube.com. Find KQAM Radio, subscribe to it, like us, leave comments, watch the podcast, watch us live. I don't really care. Share it all over the place. Let the world know that we're here advancing conservatism, trying to stand for what's right, which is what this year is going to be all about. I am so excited. I am giddy. I am pumped up. I'm ready to go. We have an election year coming up next year, but it's already starting. We'll talk about that in a minute. We have our legislative session that's going to be starting here in just a couple of weeks. I am pumped up for that one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be our year. This is going to be our time to have a little fun, do our thing, and fight for what we know is right each and every day. Welcome into it. Let's get you started. What do you say? It's 2019. Happy New Year to you. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. Now that the holidays are all over, a little bit of a downer from this side, getting back into it, or we can take it to the positive level. Come on.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
There it is, 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. It is open lines to you today. We have Sedgwick County Commissioner Jim Howell coming on at 7:30 just to talk about the brand new year. Other than that, it's open lines to you, baby. What do you want to talk about? There is so much happening, and it always happens during the holidays where we don't get to follow this or focus on it as much, but we have the government shutdown. What are we, in day number 12? And ladies and gentlemen, oh mon Dieu. Oh, man. I know, it's a horrible thing. Because, I got to say, this is the first time that I think I'm pretty excited of the fact that we have a government shutdown during the new year. We're starting off the new year with the partial government shutdown. To me, that is the greatest New Year's gift I could possibly have. Let's start it off with a government shutdown. Let's end it with a government shutdown. Let's keep it kind of slow moving. Let's keep the non-essential personnel from working in Washington, D.C. I saw the absolutely comical story. I laughed out loud yesterday when I heard the news story and heard the news headline of the fact that now we're going to do a news story on the individuals who live paycheck to paycheck and how they are frustrated and how they may have to look for different jobs because now they don't know what to do. They're tired of going to work without getting paid. They're tired of going to work without getting paid and how these are just individuals. This is unfair. They have to go to work. They're not getting paid for it, and they're getting really sick and tired of it. They better start changing something pretty soon. Now, let me remind you, they say it's 25% of the government. Only 8% of the federal government is non-funded as of right now, and it is the non-essential personnel that are not working. It is another percentage, I don't even know how many, of individuals that are working but being furloughed, meaning they're still going to work, they're still doing their job, they're just not getting a paycheck until we open the government back up again, and I'm okay with that. You have to remember that this is the federal government. This is a public servant. This is not a guaranteed job kind of thing. Everybody thinks that the federal government, once you work there, then you're good, you're locked in, you're in a safe, cozy, nice, comfy little job, and we're just going to be able to coast and ride for the rest of the time. No, that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's the government. It's supposed to function when it has money and not function when it doesn't have money. And if we don't have any money for it, then the non-essential personnel shouldn't be there in the first place. And the ones that are there understand that the money's going to kind of float because that's the taxpayer dime that you're living off of right now. Yeah. How about that? How about them apples at 6 a.m. in the morning there for the federal employees? So welcome into it, 316-721-8255. There is a lot to get to. Number one was, of course, I hope you had a wonderful, happy New Year yesterday. Now that the holidays are all over, are you ready for 2019? Did you wish they lasted a little bit longer for the holidays? And did you watch any of the midnight, late night stuff on New Year's? I don't watch that stuff. I can't watch it. And from what I heard, that it had the lowest ratings that they've seen for a New Year's celebration in any year, like in the last how many years? I don't even know. 2019, the New Year's celebration, CNN, we had Anderson Cooper that apparently got drunk taking shots of tequila on the air and ended up talking about his mom's one-night stands that she used to have. Yeah, that's stimulating TV right there. You had the entertainment side and the concerts going on in New York City that I don't really care to watch in any way, shape, or form. Doesn't bother me at all. I don't know why I would want to watch any of that stuff. So I just didn't pay attention to it. I went to bed early. I don't like to stay up that late much anymore anyways because 4 a.m. comes very early, and I like to stay somewhat on that schedule. Somewhat? A little bit. So I went to bed at like 9:30. We got the sparkling grape juice, and we all got some Mrs. Voice of Reason, Little Voice of Reason, the non-alcoholic stuff. And we got the little glasses and had some grape juice, and we played on Netflix. We did the countdown with the cartoons, and we did that one. So we got to do the countdown, got her up to bed. We went to bed, and then we did a whole lot of nothing yesterday, which is exactly what we needed. And I watched a lot of the government shutdown mayhem and the talks that they're apparently going to have today with the congressional hearings that President Trump's going to invite them in, try and find some common ground. And I hope that we don't find anything for a while because Donald Trump cannot back down a waiver from building the wall. The Democrats say that they're not going to build the wall, but they want to do border security because they want to try that happy medium, showing that they kind of sort of somewhat care about the American citizens, but not really. But at the same time, try and hold up to their values of actually not caring about the American people or securing our borders or anything of the sorts. They haven't in the last 40 years. Why would they start now? So I don't know where that common ground is going to be. But I hope that we just continue on, and they say, no, we're not going to fund the wall, but we're going to do border security. We laugh and say, yeah, how's your border security lasted for the last 30, 40 years? And now that we have 30-plus million illegal immigrants in the country, I think we have a bit of a problem. We're going to do it our way now, and you will cower, and you will back down, and you will compromise with us, because now is the time the Republicans finally have a backbone. Finally have a bit of a thick skin with Donald Trump. And this is where we're going to, this will be the mountain that we defend. This will be the stake that we impale ourselves on if we have to, because this is that important. and this is what we have to do. It's not necessarily just about the wall. And I've heard some even Republicans say, well, it doesn't really matter. There's already 30-plus million illegal immigrants in the country. Not that big of a deal. I mean, the border wall, people do trenches under the wall. They try and climb over the wall. It's not just about the wall. There's more important things to focus on here. Andy, you just need to move on from that. It's deeper than that. Number one, it's the principle, the fact that we said we were going to do it, we have to do it. Number two, when was the last time that Republicans stood their ground and made Democrats cave? When was the last time? I don't even remember. I don't think it's ever happened in the last 30, 40 years. In a single case at all. I don't think that there was a case where Republicans, at the end of the day, did not cower to the Democrats. The Democrats used their bully machine, used their bully pulpit with the media, tried to say that it was the Republicans' fault, scared the American people into hating Republicans, and then the Republicans caved, they cowered, they gave in, and the Democrats got everything they wanted. Every time, from taxes to Obamacare to more constitutional violations to the Supreme Courts to this and that and the other. Every case where we butt heads and we have the opportunity to really stand our ground and play chicken, we cower. We're the ones that always steer away first, and we're not going to do it this time. It's time for the Democrats to realize what party is going to be dominating the conversation, because we're not going to take it anymore. I'm done with dealing with stupid in 2019. That is my New Year's resolution. I'm done with dealing with stupid. Socialism is a bad word. It is a bad thing. It is a bad ideology. And I'm not going to waste my time on social media or anywhere else this year trying to listen to someone say how it's actually good, how it's a good thing, how it's going to be beneficial, and try and have this discussion. We know it's bad, and I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my time this year. If they think that government agencies, the FDA, the EPA, the this, the that, the other, are just great organizations, we have to keep them open. The agencies, the departments, they have to stay open. We have to function. I saw a story saying that the Democrats promise, as they take over the House of Representatives, their promise this year is to make government work more efficiently for the people. That's not the purpose of the government. I'm really excited because I think this year, both in the state of Kansas and at the federal level, I think it's going to come at the same time. This is going to be the year where the hammer is dropped on both ends. This is where we finally hash it out. This is the time to where you've been sitting in the pub for a long time and someone's been talking trash and talking trash and talking trash and talking trash. And finally you've had it and you take them outside and you start doing the circling and you start taking some swings. You beat each other up a little bit and then you come back in and pat each other on the back. This is the year where the gavel finally drops, I think. I hope. Where we can finally hash it out and say, you know what? We're going to lay it all out on the table. We're going to figure out each other's differences here. We're going to hash it out. Maybe we'll find some common ground again, and then maybe we can move in the right direction. All they care about is the 2020 election, trying to get rid of Donald Trump, which, fine, let them try. Elizabeth Warren, the very first one that jumped in with her exploratory committee for running for president 2020, already starting on the campaign trail. Good luck, Elizabeth Warren. Good luck. It's not going to work very well for you because already the polls show that you are like at the bottom of the list for Democrats. You're another Hillary Clinton. You're another establishment individual. Actually, according to The Hill, that right now the number one candidate for the Democrats is someone new. They don't want the old-style politics in the Democratic Party anymore. They want somebody completely fresh, completely new. Elizabeth Warren ain't that. She's been in government for how long? She campaigned for Hillary Clinton. She's Pocahontas. She's the one that's made really stupid remarks. She is not the someone new the Democrats are looking for. According to The Hill, number 2 would be Joe Biden. Number 3 would be Beto O'Rourke. Why? Doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. Then Kamala Harris and Cory Booker. Elizabeth Warren, 33% of Democrats, according to the poll from The Hill, said that she shouldn't even launch a bid. They don't even want her. And that's coming from the Democrats. But she's the first one to jump in. Let them try. I hope, I really, really hope this is the year that both at the state level and at the federal level, this is the year we hash out our differences. We finally have the light bulb click on the left side of the aisle to show that the ideology of socialism is dumb, is stupid, should not even be taken into consideration in any way, shape, or form, and that they will be the ones now that are ignored because as soon as they mention that type of ideology, then they go to the wayside as they have dismissed conservatives for the longest time and said, oh, you're talking old school. Oh, you're talking the same old, same old. Oh, you're the same old rhetoric of capitalism and free marketism and free enterprise and yada, yada, yada. The same way they've dismissed us for years, this is the year they will be dismissed. We will not give them an ounce of attention. We will not stoop to that level to have dialogue with stupidity. I'm not going to do it this year. I mean, we can debate, we can have some fun, but we're not going to have it as a serious conversation of an actual credible idea in any way, shape, or form. Welcome in 2019. It's a fresh year. It's a fresh voice. It's going to be a fresh movement. We have a lot of opportunity, but we need to start now. I know the election's not till 2020. We really have like a year and a half, year and 3/4, almost 2 years. But yet it's that important, and we set the groundwork, set the foundation right now. 316-721-8255. Good morning to you. Let's go to the phones. It is open lines to you today. Line number 1. Good morning. Who's this?
This is Pete.
Hey, good morning, Pete. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. You know, I heard your opening comments about the New Year's Eve, I guess, you know, the talk shows that everybody was doing.
Yeah, apparently those were a bomb this year.
Yeah, well, you know, I think the reason they bombed is everyone knew what they were going to say. It's all liberal left. We don't want to hear it. We get that the other 364 days a year. And, you know, as for us at our house, we just turned it on Comet TV and watched Party like it's Space 1999.
Yeah, hey, there you go. See, that's the way to do it. Yeah, I mean, I heard that the many of the media sources that did a New Year's countdown talked about how 2018 was the most shameful year because we had President Trump as a president still. We were trying to fight for border security. We had the government shutdown. All these terrible things that apparently happened, and how 2018 was the shameful year. And the Democrats are going into this year saying that this is their new resurgence of changing things, fixing things, overhauling the system, and take back their control because it was so much better when they were in power beforehand. So 2019, they're revigorated as well. They're ready to go and take over everything and go back to their same old garbage. And we're not going to let them have it. We cannot allow them to do that.
I just thought it was really pathetic, you know, that the coverage, you know, the viewership of those shows was so bad, and that we all knew what was coming, that we, you know, Jane Curtin out there saying that she wants to kill the Republicans.
Sure.
That's her, you know, so how sad is it that, you know, I find more comfort in watching the campiest sci-fi series ever made over their supposed great coverage of the New Year's celebration.
Sure. No, you're right. I mean, I'm done. And that's why I didn't watch it. I don't care to watch it. We watched movies, we watched TV shows, and then we turned on Netflix and did our little countdown ourselves when we wanted to. One, because I'm too old, apparently, to stay up until midnight. Number two, I just don't want to watch it. I don't really care. Pete, Happy New Year to you, my friend. Happy 2019. We appreciate it very much. 316-721-8255. Give us a call on our new ABC Recycling hotlines, baby. But yes, I tell you what, not only are we politically invigorated this year, I am so excited about the show, about the station, what we're doing this year. We have great new sponsors coming on board, including our ABC Recycling studio lines. It's now every time you calling into the new ABC Recycling studio lines, we have that. I'm really excited about it. We have a new sponsor for our Pass It or Ax It on Fridays. We have a lot of businesses wanting to partner up with us for the station, for the show specifically. I'm really pumped. I'm really excited. I'm really honored about it. This is the year where we really make some ground. We really have an impact in our community. This legislative session this year is going to be so exciting. It's going to be frustrating, but it's going to be so exciting. I have a lot of news coming out already about what's going to be talked about in the session this year. The House Majority Leader, Dan Hawkins, he's already come out with some ideas as well, shared some stories. We're going to share those and talk to him as well here very soon and get ready for what 2019 will look like. We have the Democrat governor. We have a conservative legislature, and it's going to come down. And that's why I think we're going to have the final drop, the final gavel hitting on what's hash out our differences and be able to duke out on who's going to be the alpha male in this conversation. That's really what it comes down to this year. Who's going to be the alpha male to control and dominate the conversation, and the follower versus the leader? Who's going to come out victorious and who's going to cower and end up backing down at the end of the day? It better not be the Republicans this time. 23 minutes past the hour. Good morning to you. It's great to have you along today on a Wednesday. It's a new year. Let's have a little fun with it today. This is The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
You're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Ag News from Mid-America Ag Network. I'm Craig Meade. Good morning. Happy New Year. Well, Japan will start cutting tariffs for some of United States agriculture's biggest competitors, especially for beef, this week. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Chile will all benefit from lower Japanese tariffs this week. That's after the United States pulled out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or TPP, last year, and the remaining 11 nations made their own separate deal. Chief Ag Negotiator for the United States Trade Representative's Office, Greg Dowd, told the Senate Ag Committee in September that top United States beef buyer Japan is key.
Increasingly, our dialogue with Japan continues to be a priority for us at USTR. A high-level delegation of Japanese officials came to USTR to discuss ways to expand and improve our bilateral trade. These discussions are continuing when we fully recognize the importance to U.S. agriculture of expanding market access into Japan. We are determined to put our producers and agribusinesses on a level playing field with other countries such as Australia, Canada, and the European Union.
The Trump administration formally launched trade talks in Japan, the UK, and the EU in October. But Dowd told senators the EU is reluctant to discuss agriculture, which of course is a must for the United States if trade talks with Brussels are to succeed.
We understand that there are many sensitivities surrounding agricultural trade, but including agriculture in any negotiation with the EU remains a priority for this administration. Currently, the United States runs an agricultural trade deficit of over $15 billion with the EU, which is partly indicative of the scope of market access issues and non-tariff barriers for U.S. agriculture into the EU.
The EU-Japan Economic Partnership Agreement takes effect February 1st and will give the 28-nation EU's farm products similar breaks to the U.S. Ag News, Mid-America Ag Network.
Whatever your business, count on EMC Insurance, because our business is protecting your business. EMC Insurance Companies has the knowledge and expertise to provide you with the right insurance coverage options. And when you insure your business with EMC, you receive the added value of our free loss control services, no matter the size of your company. Contact your local independent insurance agent and ask about insurance from EMC. In Wichita, call Signature Select at 266-6203.
Attention, co-op members. In conjunction with Countryside Motors in Wellington, all co-op members and their families qualify for additional rebates on Chevrolet, Buick, Hustler turf equipment, and Polaris vehicles. This exclusive fleet rebate program is only being offered by Countryside Motors in Wellington, Kansas. Offers are not being published to the general public. They are available to co-op members in Kansas or Oklahoma. For full details, contact Countryside Motors in Wellington at 620-326-7433 or online at countrysidemotors.net.
You've seen and heard every song and dance in the area from the big boys about new windows and doors. It's one great deal after another. Do you want a great deal or a great window? Oh, do you want it installed right? Mike Golden, the Golden Window and Door Expert, call him. He is personally involved with every estimate, every installation, and your total satisfaction. So here's the plan. Call Mike Golden, the Window and Door Expert, 316-409-6981. Write it down, 316-409-6981. It's worth the call. Ask for references, see the golden difference. Write it down, 316-409-6981. Best pricing on windows and doors in Kansas, guaranteed. Call Mike. He'll prove it.
In January, everybody's wallet could use a little spending break, and at Yoder Meats we can help with that. This month we are offering our cheapest bundle of the year, only $57. The January bundle includes ground beef, minute steaks, sirloin steaks, pork chops, and chicken breast, all for just $57. If you're looking for an even better deal or a little less meat, the butcher bag is $28 this month. Follow us on Facebook for the latest information and weekly specials. Taste the old-fashioned flavor at Yoder Meats in Yoder and 3 locations in Wichita.
Pure Talalay Bliss Latex mattresses from Derby Mattress. You consumers have validated what the experts have already known. Pure Talalay Bliss Latex mattresses outlast the memory foams, and Derby Mattress customers have reported back the best night's sleep ever. Cooler, better, more comfortable sleep, and right now at Derby Mattress, with the purchase of your Pure Talalay Bliss Latex mattress, a free basic adjustable base, Simmons Beauty Rest, and Serta Eye Comfort on sale now too. Derby Mattress, 105 South Baltimore in Derby.
Travel the world with the Carries. Sundays at 10 on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM, KQAM.
Hey, 28 minutes past the hour. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. Good morning. Great to have you with us for the ride today on a New Year's. I call it a New Year's Day. I know yesterday was New Year's Day, but today, the New Year's Day, back to business, back to work, back doing our thing, back having more fun than what we do each and every day. It becomes more and more entertaining and exciting and fun as the days progress. So I say let's continue on. What do you say? 316-721-8255. Give us a call on our ABC Recycling studio lines here at KQAM. This portion of the Voice of Reason brought to you by Lamar's Donuts and Coffee Shop. Be a rock star today on your way to work. Pick up your dozen donuts from Lamar's. It's a great way to get back into the swing of things. Maybe start your cycle again. Maybe start your tradition again, your routine. Getting to work, trying to wake up, trying to be happy and cordial with a lot of other workers. It's cool. I get it. That's the way we were all here. And you can do that each and every day with a dozen donuts from Lamar's. It's a great way to start each and every day. Start off the new year the right way. I know a lot of people have like the New Year's resolution to get back in shape, as do I, but that doesn't mean you can't have a little bit of carbohydrates as you start your day. 3 locations just south of Rock and K96, Tyler and Mays, also at Harry on the east side of Hillside. Try them. You'll definitely like them. It's Lamar's Donuts and Coffee Shop, online at lamars.com as well. Bottom of the hour news coming back. When we come back, we have a lot to get to. It's time for us to stand up, time for us to get excited, get pumped up. I will be the catalyst to motivate you. Let's make it happen. What do you say? It's going to be a good year. 2019's right upon us here.
Now back to the KQAM News Desk.
It's day 12 of the partial government shutdown, with Democrats poised to take control of the House of Representatives tomorrow. Correspondent Jessica Dean tells us funding for a border wall remains the sticking point, with positions unchanging.
The two sides in the shutdown still pretty far apart. President Donald Trump, for the past several days, has been tweeting about the wall, how he must have the wall, and the $5 billion to fund it.
The president has invited Republican and Democratic congressional leaders to the White House this afternoon for what is being billed as a briefing on border security. Asian stock markets saw losses on the first trading day of 2019 today, and European exchanges are also seeing drops this hour. Here at home, pre-market trading indicates another rough day may be ahead on Wall Street. Stock futures now showing massive losses ahead of the opening bell. Frontier Airlines says they're still investigating why passengers on a Cleveland to Tampa plane became ill yesterday. They're looking at a drinking fountain at their Cleveland concourse. I'm Michael Toscano.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please call this toll-free number right now, 800-390-9528. That's 800-390-9528. By calling your addiction team, you're taking the first steps to recovery. The help you need could be one call away. 800-390-9528. Make the free call now. 800-390-9528. Your addiction team is a third-party advertiser for various treatment centers and placement networks. Individual results will vary. Visit youraddictionteam.com/terms for more information.
Sarcoma. Odds are you've never heard that word before. For the 40 people diagnosed with sarcoma every day, it is a life-changing word, because sarcoma is cancer. Through awareness, advocacy, and research, the Sarcoma Foundation of America is bringing hope to the families whose lives have been turned upside down by a cancer they had never heard of until diagnosis. Please join us in the fight to find the cure for sarcoma. For more information on the work of the Sarcoma Foundation of America, go to curesarcoma.org.
Kansas Mid-America Network News. Good Wednesday. Union Pacific Railroad says an employee died in a train-related incident in western Kansas this past weekend. Spokeswoman Hannah Bolt said the employee died Sunday night in Oakley, the county seat of Logan County. Union Pacific said no other details were available immediately because the investigation into the death is ongoing. A Kansas judge has ruled that the state cannot block telemedicine abortions. The ruling on Monday from District Judge Franklin Thies will allow women to continue getting abortion pills from a Wichita clinic without having doctors there, and will permit the clinic to offer the pills to women in rural areas. The judge ruled that a law against telemedicine abortions set to take effect this month has no legal force. And Wichita's Eisenhower National Airport recorded its biggest November ever as far as flights departing. Mid-America Network News.
MJ's Truck Repair at Exit 46 off I-135 in Mound Ridge, America is the largest full-service truck center between Wichita and Salina in central Kansas. Truckers in the know already know, and ag people from miles around know they can turn to MJ's Truck Repair for repair and parts for their tractors, combines, and hay equipment. You construction types, listen up. Skid steers, backhoes, forklifts, bulldozers, and payloaders. MJ's of Mound Ridge is also your construction equipment, parts, and repair headquarters. Find MJ's on the web at mjstruckrepair.com.
Send your taste buds on an exciting flavor vacation at Hurricane Sports Grill. Indulge in Hurricane's made-to-order jumbo chicken wings with 35 fabulous sauces from our sauce bar, half-pound burgers, and savory tacos. With 20 beers on tap, including local crafts or your choice of Hurricane specialty cocktails, come and enjoy your favorite sport on any of our 30 TVs or call ahead for carry-out game day platters. Don't forget Hurricane's daily specials, including Monday's all-you-can-eat chicken wings. Hurricane Sports Grill, a fun-filled, family-friendly environment at 13th and Tyler.
A DUI can literally stop a person and their vehicle in its tracks. If you know someone who's gotten a nudge from the judge and their vehicle can't budge without an ignition interlock device, the next right move is Just Right Auto Repair. Just Right Auto Repair at 4312 West Central is Wichita's Intoxilock ignition interlock installation specialist. Intoxilock is the preferred device of choice among customers and monitoring authorities. Make your vehicle just right in the Quartz site. Just Right Auto Repair, your Intoxilock ignition interlock installation specialist.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, sunny and clear, high around 38, low tonight around 22. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and 44, partly cloudy and 25 tomorrow night. Warming trend continues for Friday, sunny and clear, high 52, low 29. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 6:35, it's currently 23 degrees.
Call the Voice of Reason now on the ABC Recycling phone lines at 721-8255. This is the Big Talker, KQAM. In the world of politics.
But if you're really angry, why in the first place are you not frustrated and angry to the fact that you have to spend $250 to $600 of your own cash to be able to provide resources in the classroom?
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Hey, welcome into it. 36 minutes past the hour. Good Wednesday morning to you. I know it feels like a Monday. The holidays are done. It's a shorter week for most people, hopefully. If you got to work the weekend, I do apologize for that. I got to work the weekend too. But you know what? Hey, still the principle of the thing. And I stick to that. So welcome in. It's a Wednesday. Let's get it going. It feels like a Monday. It's a brand new year, a brand new day. Let's have a little fun. Let's do our thing. Advancing conservatism. This is our year to have some fun. What do you say? 316-721-8255. 316-721-TALK. Give us a call on the ABC Recycling studio lines right here. And we'd love to hear from you. Open lines to you this hour. There is a lot of statewide news I do want to get to. They have labeled, at least, I don't know if this is the official or if this is just according to one newspaper, but there is the Kansan of the Year. Can you guess who that's going to be? We'll talk about that in just a minute and what that may do to the mentality or the mindset of many individuals in the state of Kansas. So we'll talk about that in a second. But as we continue on, I do got to give you an update for the government shutdown, as President Trump has announced a meeting this today at some point for leaders from the House and the Senate to talk about trying to negotiate a deal, and I hope we don't come to one. I will be the first. I hope we don't come to some type of agreement. I want the government to stay shut down for a long time until the Democrats just cave and say, you know what, okay, fine. I'm curious to see what their response would be. If we go, what's the longest? I mean, I don't know. Right now we're at day 12. We've had ones that are like 16, 18, 20 days. If we keep it shut down for like 2 months, could you imagine the absolute panic from the Democrats? And us saying, no, we're not going to cave. We're not going to bow down. We're not going to waver. You have to cave in this time. You have to bend over backwards this time. You have to compromise your values. Not just find a happy little compromise on what compromise used to be, but you have to compromise your values of you not wanting security to shut down and seal this country, for not wanting to make sure people come in here legally. You have to compromise your values in order for us to open back up and function the way that you want to function. And we're okay with it keeping shut down. And all the federal employees that are being affected by this, what is it, like 700,000? You know what? The economy's doing very well. The GDP's growing. Jobs are actually doing very, very well. Go find a job in the private sector. That is more secure. Here's the thing, and I think that we've had this false sense of security as a human species now because how well things are doing, and we get to go to our nice, cozy little home. I was, yesterday actually was playing a few video games. I don't do that very often, but I was playing a little bit. And I was playing one to where it was kind of an action thingy and some shooting up and blowing stuff up. And it was just kind of a fun, zone out for a minute. And it was one to where I think it was in Africa. I don't even remember the game, but it was in Africa. And it was kind of the safari, and there was a civil war going on in the guerrilla warfare and the drugs and everything else. And it was really interesting to look at. And you see the movies of this all the time, in the documentaries, of how the lifestyle is there. And the third world country that it really is. And it really made me think for a second. I was like, wait a second, I'm sitting in this nice cozy home with no breeze, with no drafts in it, and it's nice and warm. It's like 20 degrees outside. We have the Christmas lights on, and I'm sitting here playing an electronic game because that's what I do. And they're, struggling just to find clean water. And I remembered that we have to keep in mind, whether we're talking about jobs, whether we're talking about food or water, whether we're talking about security, whether we're talking about threats, whether it's an animal coming after us like a lion that wants to eat our heads off, or whether it's a bad guy with a gun trying to barge into our home, that nothing is guaranteed. Nothing. And that was kind of the weird revelation I had on New Year's Day as I'm playing a video game. It was very strange, but it really hit me of nothing is guaranteed at all in any way, shape, or form. Just because you work for the federal government should not mean that we now have documentaries and we have now news stories going on and on and on every day about how these people are struggling now because they live paycheck to paycheck as well, and how the government's supposed to be a guaranteed job, and how they're supposed to be living comfortably, and how they don't have work anymore or they don't have a paycheck anymore. That's the same story. I don't remember hearing a story like that, but it's really the same story in real life about individuals who lost their jobs in the healthcare industry when Obamacare took effect. That's the same story that we should have heard about in the media when Obama and George W. Bush and all these other big government elitists ended up trying to stimulate the economy, quote unquote, by injecting money into it, where we didn't have GDP growth and where we were seeing a high unemployment rate and people weren't working and they were struggling and they were on either the government dime, which constitutionally you're not really supposed to have that anyways, but we do have it, but it's not supposed to be the best of living, and you're supposed to struggle on that because you're not supposed to be dependent on the government, whether you're waiting on social programs or whether you're waiting because the government has frozen your job. Either way, nothing is guaranteed. So now you see stories just to try and make Republicans and Donald Trump look bad of saying, oh, look, these federal employees, these federal workers, they're struggling. They can't pay their bills now. It's going to be a devastating thing. We got to get them back to work. And like the Democrats made their promise for 2019 is that it's going to be their vision, their motive, their idea to try and make the government work more efficiently for them. Then you see a story like this, KWCH.com. Paychecks for federal employees are set to deliver on January 11th. However, if no deal is reached by then, the paychecks will not be sent. President Trump has signed an executive order Friday last week freezing federal workers' pay in 2019 and preventing them from receiving a 2.1% pay raise increase that was set to take effect in January. Not going to happen. The pay freeze and now the government shutdown and federal employees not actually working, they are losing their minds because they've lost their natural instinct to understand nothing is ever guaranteed. Water could end at any point. Food could end at any point. An individual that has a firearm that's doing stupid things and trying to harm other individuals could end something very quickly. And we'll talk about the shooting that happened over the weekend as well. The government cannot get rid of the natural threats that you and I have to go through each and every day. They can't do it. They can try. You can have this false sense of security. You can have this false sense of hope. It doesn't work that way. I don't know. It was kind of a little revelation that I came to, oddly enough, just playing a video game, sitting there. I'm like, wow, you know what? As a first world country, we have it good. We have it good, even if you're struggling a little bit. I mean, obviously, a lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck. And if we did lose our job, yeah, that's kind of devastating. That hurts a little bit. We struggle, but we figure it out. Now all of a sudden we're supposed to play sympathy for the federal employees, the 700,000, 800,000 employees that are being furloughed, still going to work and not getting a paycheck right now. They've missed one paycheck, and now we're hearing the stories about how terrible this is. I don't remember hearing these types of stories when Barack Obama shut down the government. I just don't. But now all of us should feel sympathetic for these individuals. I don't think it's going to resonate with them very well, with you and I. Because you and I are like, yeah, welcome to that. You know, that whole 4%, 5%, 6% unemployment rate that Barack Obama had, that George W. Bush had when the economy wasn't doing well. Yeah, you know what? Don't feel really bad for you right now, federal government workers, because we had to go through that already. So welcome aboard and welcome to our world, because nothing is guaranteed, even through the federal government. 316-721-8255. And now I like the idea that now we're starting to freeze the federal workers' pay for 2019. We haven't gotten salary increases at the private sector a whole lot yet. We're starting to see that come back to us a little bit. But you know what? You're a federal government worker. You don't need an automatic 2% pay increase, because that would be really nice in the private sector too, wouldn't it? Let's go to the phone lines here. The ABC Recycling lines, line number 1. Good morning. What's your name?
Hey, good morning. It's Deacon.
Deacon, good morning, sir. How you doing?
I am fantastic, brother. Out here living the dream.
Hey, every single day. It's going to be a good year, ain't it?
It is. It's going to be fantastic. But, you know, you were talking about the government shutdown, and I just want to know, how easily could we fund the wall if we took those paychecks of non-essential employees and put it into a Go Build the Wall fund?
Well, imagine this. If we have 700,000 non-essential personnel that are being laid off right now, 700,000, almost 1 million individuals that are non-essential workers. Why we have that many that are non-essential in the first place, not quite sure. But let's just take that and then take, for example, I don't know, how much do you think they make? $50,000 a year?
Oh, I'd up that, bro. That's federal government.
Well, let's just say as an average between, you know, the very low on the totem pole kind of individuals, let's say 50,000 times the 700,000 federal employees. That'd be, let's see, 1, 2, yeah, that would be right about the amount of money that we need. Close to, like, if I'm doing the numbers right here, $3.5 billion.
Yeah, just, you know, take their paycheck, build the wall, get on with the day. Another thing I've got going is... Oh, no, I'm sorry. That would be... I did the comma wrong. That would be $35 billion. That would more than compensate for the wall. Right?
Yeah.
And another thing is these people throwing a fit about, they're out of work, you're not getting a paycheck. I live in Kansas now because the housing bubble in North Carolina burst, and I went from being a very highly paid construction worker to picking up dog crap, cutting people's grass, and doing whatever I could do to make sure my family had a place to live and food to eat.
Sure.
And I found out that there was a job in Kansas, so we moved 1,700 miles to a place I didn't know so that way we could have a life. You know what? Suck it up, Buttercup, and get over it.
Wait a second. So you didn't just go to the media and say I should be a victim because I lost my job as a construction worker and you need to find a new job for me. You went out and you found a new job and you moved states and went to a new place because that's just what you had to do.
Yeah, that's just the way it worked out.
Well, come on, man.
Kansas is fantastic.
Well, yeah, but come on, man. I mean, they're federal employees. They should just have it given to them. They should be guaranteed. They shouldn't have to worry about this kind of stuff. They work on the public dime on your taxpayer money, and they shouldn't have to worry about whether they get a paycheck or not.
Right, and no matter how much we make or whatever happens to our income, they should be secured. They should be, not even having to worry about it.
Nothing to worry about. I mean, I work for a small, locally owned business. It's not a large corporation. It's not anything like that. I work for a small business. Let's say this year doesn't go well and we shut doors down. Should I go to the media and say, hey, I'm a victim here? I work for a small mom and pop shop and it didn't work out. Now I'm out of a job. What am I going to do? You guys need to take care of me. Do I do that or do I go and find a new job? I don't think that's going to happen because we're doing very well, I think, as a company. But, as a theoretical, as small mom and pops, the small retail stores in town that just have 1 or 2 shops, if they shut doors, the retail side doesn't come back up. People don't get a whole lot of money. Should we go to the media and say, you know what? I'm kind of a victim here. I tried to do a business, didn't work out. It's all your fault. You need to take care of me now.
No, that's just the way a free market economy works, and I love it better than socialism every day of the week.
Hey, there it is. Love it, Deacon. Happy 2019 to you, my friend. It's going to be a good year, and I'm really excited for what we're going to do here. 316-721-8255. That's the way we have to look at this. The sob stories. Drives me nuts. And I hope that when you saw these news stories, that filter came through your mind of, wow, they're really desperate to make us look bad. They're really desperate because they want to try and make these individuals look like victims. They're not victims. They're federal employees that work on the public dime. They work in the public sector. And if they don't like the uncertainty of the public sector based on taxpayer money and based on what the politics of the day are and what the government does, go to the private sector and you can deal with the same garbage there as you do in the public sector, because that's what the world looks like. That's just what it looks like. Got to take a break. 48 minutes past the hour. When we come back, we'll look at the Kansan of the year. Who is it? And what do they want to do in the state of Kansas? We'll do that when we come back. It's the Voice of Reason on a Wednesday. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. Of course, the markets were closed on New Year's Day, and we'll be back in business today, beginning at the open at 8:30. Corn futures ended the final day of 2018 fractionally mixed on year-end position squaring. The nearby continuous chart shows corn up 6.9% for the year. And, of course, as we pointed out, markets were closed on New Year's Day. March corn closed at $3.75, down a half a cent on December 31st. And May corn was down a quarter cent at $3.83. Soybean futures settled Monday with fractional losses to round out the year. Front month continuous chart, soybeans were down 7.28%. Soy meal was down $2.70 a ton, with soy oil up 3 points. January soybeans closed at $8.82.5, down a quarter cent. March beans down a half a cent at $8.95. Taking a look at the wheat markets, wheat futures posted losses of 7 to 8.25 cents, with most winter wheat contracts on Monday. Minneapolis was down as much as 2 cents. On the year, Chicago wheat was up 17.86%. Kansas City was up 14.39%. Minneapolis wheat was down on the year. March Chicago wheat closed at $5.03 down 8.5 cents. Kansas City wheat was at $4.88 down 7.25 cents at the end of the day on Monday. Live cattle futures closed Monday with the contracts mixed. December closed up 72 at 124.80. February was down 30 at 123.87. January feeder cattle down 22 cents at 148.85. March feeders were down 12.5 at 146.75. Lean hog futures were steady to 57.5 cents higher on Monday. February hogs closed up 32 at 60.97, while April hogs were up 57.5 at 67.07. Market information from Mid-America Ag Network.
Hi, this is Phil Martinez at Phil's Coins. At the shop, we talk all the time about honesty and integrity. And in our shop, we've decided that honesty means nothing without integrity. So what I would tell you is that if you didn't bring your coins to Phil's Coins, honestly, you didn't get enough money for what you have. Come see us at Phil's Coins, 9344 West Central, or online at philscoins.com.
Croft Lumber of Heston. Project expertise from start to finish. At Croft Lumber, you'll experience big box store selection with Heston owned and operated, pride in serving you, the customer. Quality Anderson and Marvin windows, Anderson and Larson storm doors, the full line of custom kitchen cabinetry from R.D. Henry & Company. And Croft Lumber has the full Milwaukee tool line. Croft Lumber, where service is their specialty and delivery within a 50-mile radius is absolutely free. Croft Lumber of Heston.
Right now, when it's cold outside, you should be thinking about spring, because when spring arrives and the grass starts growing, you'll want to start mowing. And Maximum Outdoor Equipment wants you and your lawnmower to be ready by offering an Oregon Parts Winter Service Special. Maximum Outdoor Equipment uses genuine Oregon parts, and through February 28th, they're offering you a 15% discount on winter service labor or half-off pickup and delivery within a 25-mile radius. Don't wait until spring and get caught in a backlog with all the folks who didn't get their mowers serviced over the winter. Save time and money by taking advantage of Maximum Outdoor Equipment's Oregon Parts Winter Service Special, which ends February 28th. See Winter Service Special details online at MaximumOutdoor.com or give them a call at 943-0201. Maximum Outdoor Equipment is the small box store that knows mowers, just south of Kellogg on West Street.
Maximum service, maximum value, maximum outdoor equipment.
In Kansas, severe weather can come in an instant. Your home suffers every season from wind and hail. When disaster strikes, you need someone you can trust, someone local, someone like Morrison Roofing and Construction. Founded in Derby and serving South Central Kansas, the local experts at Morrison offer free estimates and emergency tarping. Don't trust your home to those storm chaser companies. Stick with the local experts. Morrison Roofing and Construction, 316-202-8000. That's 316-202-8000. Or visit them online at morrisonroofing.biz.
Jim Bohannon, live evenings at 9, here on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM.
Six minutes to the top of the hour. Welcome back in. We are broadcasting live on radio, AM and FM. We are on TV at 26.10 KGPT TV. We are on YouTube right now, youtube.com. Find KQAM Radio. We did share that onto the Facebook pages, KQAM, Voice of Reason, personal pages, whatever. It's all over the place. Find it. Share the link. Watch it live. We got a few people jumping on there already this morning, getting back at it, getting back into the routine the way you do. Try to at least do after the holidays. Welcome in 316-721-8255. It is time for us to find out who the Kansan of the Year was according to at least the media. I don't know if this is the official one or not, but why not? I mean, it's the Topeka Capital Journal. They must have it going on, right? So here it is. I don't know if I gave it away there or not with the sounder, but, you know, hey, Kansan of the Year, Laura Kelly. Oh, yes. As they talk to colleagues, friends, and others to attest to the governor-elect's competitiveness and kindness. As Laura Kelly, according to the Topeka Capital Journal, is listed as Kansan of the Year. Now, why would she be I wonder if they made Governor Brownback Kansan of the Year when he got elected, or if he got reelected. I wonder if they made Mike Pompeo Kansan of the Year when he got elected or nominated from his House Representative seat to CIA director, and then on to Secretary of State. I wonder if they did that to a Republican. You think so? I don't know what she did. I don't know what was so great or so grand for her to become Kansan of the Year, but that's who the media is calling as Kansan of the Year. And the reports have been that she's extremely kind, really nice. I mean, she does have that low-key monotone voice that'll put you to sleep. I can't wait for our State of the State address coming up soon. Yeah. I think we need to turn it into a drinking game. If you're able to stay awake, then you can have a shot of energy drink. What do you think? Or maybe you need the shot of energy drink in order to stay awake to listen to her do her State of the State address. I'm not quite sure yet. We'll kind of refine how the game's going to be played, but that's going to come up here pretty soon, so we need to get ready for that one. But they do talk about her kindness, her competitiveness. There were a lot of people who came to her and said, we really need you. This may not be something that you contemplated. It may not be the turn you were expecting. It may not be your favorite thing in the world, but there's a bigger need, a bigger calling. If you do it, we'll be with you, according to Kathleen Sebelius, talking to Laura Kelly. To achieve her goals, which include public education, funding, and expanding Medicaid. I love how they say funding public schools because we're not funding them right now, but another story for another time. In expanding Medicaid, she'll need to flex her vast experience as a listener who collects a wide range of ideas, making decisions based on facts, and inspires those who interact with her. I love how they create this aura around her. We're going to try and get her on the show. She is the new governor of the state of Kansas, and we'll try and bring her on the program. I don't know whether she'll come on or not, but she is the vast listener that brings in people all over to find the best ideas, and she brings in Republicans and Democrats. And by Republicans, I mean the ones that are from Bill Graves and other moderate Republicans who have no conservative bone in them whatsoever, but they do have the R in front of their name, so therefore that she is a bipartisan governor. She's going to listen to ideas from all across the board, the smorgasbord of ideas, and then she's going to come out and she's going to put a damper onto the conservative movement because we don't care about that, and she's going to listen to everybody else and come up with the best ideas because she is a grown leader. She is an absolute leader that everybody's just going to follow, according to the story. She has a competitive spirit. Apparently, her and Kathleen Sebelius go golfing. Okay. Didn't know that they went golfing. That's cool. Glad I know that now. And that she's extremely kind, and she is a natural-born leader. So there you have it, the Kansan of the Year, Laura Kelly, because she won the governorship. They beat the evil, terrible Chris Kobach, which they despised with a passion. She's the Democrat taking Kansas to a new path. She's the leader. She's the listener. She's the one that's going to listen to a vast plethora of ideas, and she's going to get the state back on track already, like they've already said, just from tax receipts coming in already because we raised income taxes, and now we see more money coming into the government. She's probably responsible for that, and we can thank her for more money coming into the government. We can increase funding for education. We can expand Medicaid. We can do everything we want to do for the skeleton bones and the skeleton crews on each administration, agency, and department without raising a single bit of taxes, because that's how good she is. It's going to be a fun year. What do you say? Top of the hour news coming up. Hour number 2 right around the corner. Stay here.
Hi, this is Phil Martinez at Phil's Coins. At the shop, we talk all the time about honesty and integrity. And in our shop, we've decided that honesty means nothing without integrity. So what I would tell you is that if you didn't bring your coins to Phil's Coins, honestly, you didn't get enough money for what you have. Come see us at Phil's Coins, 9344 West Central, or online at philscoins.com.
Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Maize, your one-stop shop to keep you comfortable as the coldest months of the season make their way to Kansas. Something for everyone that you might be needing this time of year. From many forms of heaters, ice melt, snow shovels, insulation kits for sealing up those drafts in doors and windows, and bird feeders and feed to keep the feathered friends happy this winter. Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Maize. We're much, much more than just a hardware store. Shrug off that cold this winter with Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Maize, where we take pride in serving you.
This is a Steckline communication station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita Proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by Phil's Coins, Kansas's largest coin dealer at 9344 West Central. Phil's Coins, buying, selling, and trading with honesty and integrity.
Good Wednesday morning. The city of Wichita amassed more homicides in 2018 than in any other year since 1995. Wichita Eagle reports that at least 43 people died by homicide in Wichita in 2018, which is up 5 from 2017. Wichita police say the increase can, in part, be attributed to self-defense killings, which increased by 5. Kansas is among several states where residents have no legal obligation to retreat from an attacker. Firefighters in Hutchinson responded early yesterday morning to a 2-alarm fire on South Main Street. Hutchinson Fire Chief Steve Beer said that the South Main Street building was a wood hobby shop. No one was in the building when the fire was reported, but Chief Beer said the building had been used for a New Year's Eve party until about 3:30 yesterday morning. Approximately 40 firefighters responded to the scene. The building was deemed a total loss. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Wichita police have arrested a 17-year-old boy in connection to 2 Friday armed robberies, one of which led to the fatal shooting of one of the suspects. Officer Charlie Davidson said the 17-year-old was lodged into juvenile detention on allegations of 3 counts of aggravated robbery. The first holdup happened around noon Friday at the Family Dollar on South Woodlawn. Around 3 o'clock Friday afternoon, another robbery at the B&H Fast Trip on South Seneca. It was there that one of the suspects, 16-year-old Deshaun Bradford, was shot by a customer in the course of the robbery and later died of his injuries. November's numbers are in, and Wichita's Eisenhower National Airport had a record month with over 145,000 passengers flying in and out of the state's largest city. Officials at the airport say cargo activity was also up by about 15.5%. I'm Rick Everett from the news desk. We now turn it over to the sports desk and Doug Downs.
Now that the college football season is wrapped up, other than the national championship game this coming Monday night, it is time to set our sights on college basketball. Conference play gets underway starting tonight in the Big 12 and the American Athletic Conference, with the Oklahoma Sooners, ranked number 23 in the country, traveling to the Kansas Jayhawks, the 5th-ranked team. It is an 8 p.m. tip tonight at Allen Fieldhouse. Also in the American Athletic Conference tonight, Tulsa will take on Houston. Tomorrow, Wichita State gets their conference underway as they will travel to Memphis to face the Tigers. The Shockers lead the series 11-10 overall, including a 85-65 win last year on the road at Memphis. From the Sports Desk, I'm Doug Downs.
If you're active military, a veteran, or part of our law enforcement community, bring in your active or inactive military ID or an active law enforcement ID to any Riverside Cafe location. Buy 2 meals and a drink and get the second meal of equal or lesser value for free. Again, for any military vets or law enforcement, buy 1 meal and 2 drinks and get the second meal at no charge. Riverside Cafe.
Riverside Cafe, with all 3 locations serving all-day breakfast. In Wichita at 9125 West Central, 13th in Bidding, and in Derby at 824 North Baltimore.
My friend, you can find out why Pizza John's is the pizza of choice in Derby for over 44 years. Pizza John's in Derby, the original purveyors of round meals and flat snacks, is more than pizza. Lunches include salads, spaghetti, complete with garlic bread. And Pizza John's of Derby is the hoagie headquarters of South Central Kansas. Dine in or carry out. Delivery after 5 p.m. by simply calling 788-2011 or quick and easy online at pizzajohnderby.com. Pizza John's.
No one wakes up and plans for a car accident, but there are some things you should know about Norris Collision Center of Goddard in the event that happens, like the fact that Norris Collision Center doesn't charge a storage fee when your vehicle is brought there, the fact that the tow truck that arrives at the accident scene will take your vehicle to Norris Collision upon request, and the fact that Norris Collision Center of Goddard will provide you with rental car assistance, big city quality with small town service. 794-1161, Norris Collision Center of Goddard.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.
It's day 12 of the partial government shutdown, with Democrats poised to take control of the House of Representatives tomorrow. Correspondent Jessica Dean tells us funding for a border wall remains the sticking point, with positions unchanging.
The two sides in the shutdown still pretty far apart. President Donald Trump, for the past several days, has been tweeting about the wall, how he must have the wall, and the $5 billion to fund it.
The president has invited Republican and Democratic congressional leaders to the White House this afternoon for what is being billed as a briefing on border security. Asian stock markets saw losses on the first trading day of 2019 today, and European exchanges are also seeing drops this hour. Here at home, pre-market trading indicates another rough day may be ahead on Wall Street. Stock futures now showing massive losses ahead of the opening bell. Frontier Airlines says they're still investigating why passengers on a Cleveland to Tampa plane became ill yesterday. They're looking at a drinking fountain at their Cleveland concourse. I'm Michael Toscano.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Derby Mattress. No dancing animals, no gimmicks. Your locally owned hometown mattress store at 105 South Baltimore in Derby.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, sunny and clear, high around 38, low tonight around 22. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and 44, partly cloudy and 25 tomorrow night. Warming trend continues for Friday, sunny and clear, high 52, low 29. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 7:06, it's currently 23 degrees.
This is Dave Ramsey, and you're listening to your home for live and local conservative talk, the Big Talker, KQAM.
It's time for Reason.
The elderly and disabled people obviously need it. Let's take care of them. That's the purpose of the program. We want to take care of people who honestly, truly need it with this program. Expanding it does not help them in any way, shape, or form because they're already covered. We're expanding it to overload the system to put people on it that don't need to be on it, and then wonder why the system fails. And then say we're not expanding it enough.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Then I'll get on my knees and pray. We don't get fooled again. Don't get fooled again.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Welcome into the Voice of Reason, hour number 2 of the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on the Big Talker. 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. We are simulcasting on TV as well, KGPT TV channel 2610. Good morning, welcome aboard. It's great to have you along today. It is 2019. I have to remember that writing checks now because I always forget what year it is, and I just figured out to remind myself that it's 2018. Now it's 2019, so remember that as you're putting the date on everything today. It is a Wednesday. It feels like a Monday, so let's get you rolling to go today. It's the post-holidays. It's a new year. It's a new day. Let's get through this week. Let's make it happen, my friends. Advancing conservatism. This is our year to make it happen.
Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Welcome in 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. It's great to have you along for the ride. It's open lines to you on the ABC Recycling Hotlines here at KQAM Studios. Coming up in the bottom of the hour, Jim Howell, Sedgwick County Commissioner. He'll be joining us as he does every Wednesday. And yes, he will be joining us today. The post-New Year talk about 2019 and the goals of the legislative agenda from the County Commission, what the County Commission may look like as we do the transition. We have two new individuals coming in, and it should be kind of interesting. We have a full-blown actual socialist on our County Commission starting very soon. That's going to be entertaining. The big question is whether she's going to see the reality check of, oh, the world doesn't actually work that way when she gets in there actually doing things, or whether it's going to be just a hardline, ideological standpoint and just doing ridiculous stuff and just being the vote that we just can't depend on in any way, shape, or form because, it's a socialist. So we'll have that going for us. So maybe we'll try and get her on the show. We'll try and reach out and see if she's willing to come on the program. Should be kind of interesting as well. So we have that going on. We have the legislative session that will be starting very soon, the inauguration of Governor-elect Laura Kelly, and as she has been named the Kansan of the Year. Yeah. Winning. That's what I'm talking about, the Kansan of the Year right there. Laura Kelly talking about how great of things she's done of last year. The media just really hyped up and excited the fact that she actually got elected over Chris Kobach. So they're giddy. And apparently, here's what's going to happen. We're going to reinvest in education and pretty much like double our spending in education. We're going to spend more on every agency and department in the state of Kansas because they're apparently on skeleton crews. I can't say it with a straight face, but I'm going to try to. They're going to reinvest in all the agencies. I can't do it because it's a lot. It's stupid to even think that way, but they're going to reinvest. Oh, man. I'm going to crack myself up here. They're going to reinvest in all the government agencies and departments because they're on skeleton crews. And she's going to reinvest in education. She's going to expand Medicaid. And she's going to do all of it with without raising taxes. She's going to be the savior of Kansas, let me tell you. It's hysterical. It's funny. Because people think this is going to happen. So I'm really looking forward to the State of the State address to where we can play the drinking game, not with alcohol, but with energy drinks to try and stay awake to listen to it. And then we can get ready for the legislative session come the end of this month. 316-721-8255. One thing that did pop up, though, that I thought was kind of interesting, the fact that we're actually discussing this in the state of Kansas. It was shared on Facebook by our new House Majority Leader, Dan Hawkins, from District Number 100 here in the Wichita area. We're going to get him back on the show again before the legislative session starts, but he did share a story from Kansas City Star and how they're advocating of the idea of actually ways to fix the school system is to have school choice. I know. Hold on. Wait a second. School choice as in having charter schools, as in having private schools, as in possibly having school vouchers. That's an idea that came up from a major news source in Kansas about a possible fix to the educational system. And it's true. Now, we've talked about this before because we can talk till we're blue in the face about the actual dollar amount on how much should be reinvested in education, where it should be applied to, whether the classroom or the teacher salaries or the resources or the administration or the athletic field. Because, I mean, come on. Your practice football field really needs to have AstroTurf on it, and we need to spend money on that to maintain it and keep it up and everything of that, because that's going to help with our grades. It's going to help with our test scores. It really, I promise you, that Olympic-sized swimming pool at the school is really going to help you with your ACTs and your SATs. I'm telling you, it will. So maybe, just maybe, we'll try and apply it to other places. We could talk about where the money goes till we're blue in the face. The fact of the matter is that a free market, free enterprise style of education means that you have the choice as a parent to take your kids where you feel they're going to get their best education. And that holds the school accountable to have a higher standard because they need to compete with other schools in order for you to actually want to take your children there, not to be forced to take your children there. It's kind of like the healthcare industry. It's kind of like that a little bit, to where if you had the choice to shop 10 different insurance companies with different plans or plans that are tailored to you and what's going to be most financially effective for you and what's going to be the most beneficial for you, then the businesses, the companies, those evil companies looking for the profits are going to have a plan that's going to best suit you because you're going to want to go there, not be forced to go there like we have been with Obamacare. Which, reminder of, as of yesterday, here's something that, again, we should be winning, very excited about, is the fact that we are now in 2019. The individual mandate for Obamacare is officially gone. It's officially done. It's over. We're not going to have to worry. If you do not want to have health insurance, you are no longer going to be penalized for not having health insurance in the market today. That is good news. See, 2019 is already looking up. We started off the year with a government shutdown, that we're still 25% of the government being affected. That makes me kind of happy. We have the individual mandate that's been repealed, and it's officially taken effect as of yesterday. That's really good news. We're talking about school choice in the state of Kansas already and ways that we can fix the educational system, lower the amount of spending, let it be competitive in the market, and then they actually have to, you live on the east side, so you got to go to the east side school. You live on the west side, you got to go to the west side school. There's not a whole lot of charter schools or magnet schools, so you just kind of have to deal with what you got in your vicinity, in your area. No. We can open up more private schools, open up more charter schools, open up more magnet schools, and then you get the choice to go anywhere in the city that you want to, anywhere in the region that you want to, if you choose to drive your children there and if you want to take your kids to that school, because they have a better system, they have better rates, they have better graduation rates, they have better test scores, they have better everything. So I'm going to take my kids there. I don't know why that's a problem. We heard from James Thompson, if you remember, said that school choice is a terrible idea. School vouchers a terrible idea. Keep kids in private school private and keep public school kids public, because that way we can talk about how evil the private school kids are, because it's unfair that they get a better education, so we can continue the divisiveness. That's the way to go, right? So the fact that we're talking about this, maybe that's going to be the fix. The question is Laura Kelly actually going to be on board with this? If we start talking in the legislative session with a more conservative legislature in the House and in the Senate, and we start saying, you know what, school choice is going to be the way to go. We're going to keep the funding where it's at. We're not even going to decrease it. We're going to keep it where it's at. We're going to reorganize where the money's actually going to go. We're going to start focusing more on the classroom and the teachers and not the administration. And then we're going to actually open up the opportunity for more vouchers and charter schools and private schools and more options in the area and allow more of them to come into the system. Do you think that she'd be for? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, if she's smart and if she really truly does care about the children the way she says she does, she said that she got elected as the school finance governor because that's her whole mentality. She's going to fix the schools. She's going to fix the education system. And if she does, how's she going to do it? Other than just spend more money, because that's right now been her option. If she has a bill come to her desk that's been passed by the House, been passed by the state Senate, we get it to her desk that says, you know what, we're going to open up the floodgates for options more so than what we've ever seen before. Private schools. Drop the price of the private schools because there's going to be more of them there, which means it's going to be more financially feasible for other individuals to go there. We're going to open up the opportunity for school vouchers, to give vouchers to parents that can't really afford private schools to go into a private school. Andy, that's not very very free market, very free enterprise. Well, we already pay our money into the educational system. We pay it through our property taxes, our income tax, our sales tax, give you back a voucher saying, oh, here's the money that you paid into the system. Take your kid wherever you want to for school. You can take them to a public school. You can take them to a private school. Here's the crazy part is that they actually have to meet standards to get into many private schools or charter schools or even magnet schools. They have to meet a standard. They actually hold standards. And if you can try and get them in there, then all the power to you. And then it goes on to the responsibility of the parents and of the child to actually, focus on their schooling, to actually hit certain grades, to hit a certain level, to be able to be entered in or accepted into these schools. It's not the financial obligation anymore. It's not the excuse that people can use saying, well, they would excel if they just had the opportunity, and some would. So let's show that. Let's give you the opportunity to get there. Now can you excel? Now can you flourish? Now it's back on the responsibility of the parent and of the child and of the home and the way it should be, not the dependency of just saying, hey, school, why didn't you educate my child, you bunch of jerks? Hey, government, why didn't you fund the school to give them the opportunity to educate my child, you bunch of jerks? It's always the excuse, the excuse, the excuse. People love to pass blame off, right? Let's get rid of all the opportunity for them to pass blame and have it focus back on them, their child, their family, their parents, their home, and their ability to educate themselves and to learn and to want to learn in the educational system. And by then, maybe we'll see some success. Maybe we'll see some higher test scores. Maybe we'll see some higher graduation rates. Maybe we'll see individuals going into more in-depth higher educations fields, whether it's engineering, whether it's construction, whether it's architecture, whether it's science, whether it's medical stuff. I don't know. I didn't obviously get to that level. But maybe we could see some individuals actually that maybe we could see some crafty individuals want to stay here in Kansas because they have the opportunities here in Kansas. See, this trickles down all across the board. And if you remember, a lot of the Republican candidates during the governor's race, during the primary, had talked about the linking between higher education and the workforce and what kind of skills that we actually need. And maybe, just maybe, if we have more skilled individuals going into the workforce from higher education or even from high school, that would already connect that link. That would already connect those dots because they're going to be having more opportunity. 316-721-8255. Let's go to the ABC Recycling phone lines here. Line number 1. Good morning. Who's this? Hello.
This Dan Hawkins.
Hey, Dan Hawkins, State Representative. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. I'm on my way to Topeka this morning.
Oh, I love it. You guys are getting all ready for this. It's going to be a good time. I'm sure you just heard this with this educational finance, this school choice, the charter schools, the magnet schools, the private schools. Do we have an opportunity to really see some change in our education system here?
You know, I think we do have an opportunity. And by the way, Andy didn't know I was going to call in. I just was driving and listening to his talk on education, and I had to call in.
I love it. I'm glad you did. I appreciate that.
There's actually a lot of opportunities. It was interesting. There was an article in it was actually an op-ed piece in the Kansas City Red Star the other day from a college student at K-State who was espousing exactly what you just were talking about, Andy, in the fact that school choice actually in the free market society is actually what's going to save schools. I believe that schools, if we're allowed to make vouchers work, if people truly have a choice, every school will become efficient or they'll die. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, isn't that the way business works? Either you become efficient and you do well and you thrive, or you go the way of the dinosaur. And quite frankly, I think even the public schools will thrive if we give school choice a chance.
Well, and I'm glad that this is actually being talked about in the fact that I'm surprised that the Kansas City Star actually reported on this story because you're absolutely right. I mean, this is a great way to fix it. The big question is, I think we can get it through the legislature with you pushing for this on the Senate, on the House side, the Senate side doing the same thing. The question is, would Laura Kelly sign something like this if she says she really, truly, honestly cares about the children?
Knowing Laura like I do, probably not. She's not a fan of school choice. They all want to talk about how they really want schools to do well. They just want schools to have more and more dollars, build that whole system up even larger than what it is. It becomes unsustainable. So she's not going to sign a school choice bill of any type. I guarantee you.
But we have an opportunity to really make this the talking point because the last couple of years, as we talk about the finance of the schools and how much money is going to go in and whether it's going to be appeasing the Supreme Court, and I mean, those are the battles that we've been really focused on the last couple of years. We've kind of thrown in the idea of school choice, but it's never really gained any traction. Maybe it can start getting traction this year as the option of saying, you know what, we don't need to double our expenditure for a public education that's already at an astronomical amount. All we got to do is open up the Pandora's box of opportunity for more schools to come in here
year, and then the parents can choose where they want to take their kids.
You're absolutely right, and that's actually the reason why I'm heading to Topeka today is to work on the communications aspect. One of our problems, Andy, and as you know well, is that we just can't get our message out. The mainstream media, the print media, the TV, they are not going to report those type of things, and if they do, they always put it in a bad light. So we're going to try to figure out how we can message this and get this information out in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's social media, whether it's through radio, whether it's through other places who are a little bit more willing to at least throw information out there for people to digest. We've got to do that because otherwise we just keep getting the same thing, and that's just more money thrown into education. And what do we get out of that?
Yeah.
Very little.
Yeah, very little. I mean, we've seen the stagnation that we've seen for the last, I don't know how many years so far. We got to take a break. State Representative Dan Hawkins, I really appreciate you tuning in and calling on the whim like this, and that's what led to this conversation is the fact that we're maybe have an opportunity to start this dialogue, to push for something different, and maybe work towards actually fixing something this year. I see a lot of opportunity here, and hopefully we can get something done.
Have a good day, Andy.
Hey, I love it, Dan. I appreciate it very much. Dan Hawkins, State Representative, District 100. I love it right there. That's how we're going to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, our elected officials are listening to us. This is how we make this change. And, yeah, radio's, I think, going to have a huge effect on it this year. Got to take a break, wrapping up this one. When we come back, bottom of the hour, Jim Howell, Sedgwick County Commissioner. He'll be joining us at 7:30 right here on The Voice of Reason.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker, KQAM.
Ag News from Mid-America Ag Network. 2018 was one of the most up and down market years in recent memory. While the list of concerns in the market was a long list, the trade dispute with China was the number one newsmaker. Joe Vaklovic, founder and president of Standard Grain in Chicago, says China exiting the soybean market left a lot of beans sitting around in storage.
So we had our November 18th soybean contract trading, $10.50, $10.60 over the spring, and then we really collapsed, and we ultimately bottomed at, $8.12. So we saw a very significant decline. Definitely a portion of that can be attributed to the lack of Chinese buying in the marketplace. There's no doubt about that. The demand side of the balance sheet, basically half of it is exports. It's basically half exports and half domestic crush, which is processors turning beans into meal and oil. When you lose the amount of demand that we lost with China being out of the market, that has a substantial impact, certainly, and it added unneeded bushels onto what was going to already be a burdensome balance sheet.
China's soybean purchases drying up isn't the only challenge for the soybean market. Vaklovic says farmers are just producing a lot more soybeans than they can get rid of.
The other side of this, of course, is the supply side. It may be good for farmers, but bad for farmers in regard to price, is that we have done nothing but expand production in soybeans here in the U.S. really dramatically over the last 4 or 5 years.
And he says things won't get better until the United States figures out what to do with all those soybeans.
You're going to end up with a 1 billion bushel soybean carryout on August 31st, 2019. And what are we going to do between now and then to start to chew through those bushels? We're basically maxed out on domestic processors.
Vaklovic says contra-season purchases of soybeans from China likely won't happen, leaving a lot of soybeans that need a place to go. Ag News, Mid-America Ag Network.
Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Maize, your one-stop shop to keep you comfortable as the coldest months of the season make their way to Kansas. Something for everyone that you might be needing this time of year. From many forms of heaters, ice melt, snow shovels, insulation kits for sealing up those drafts in doors and windows, and bird feeders and feed to keep the feathered friends happy this winter. Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Maize. We're much, much more than just a hardware store. Shrug off that cold this winter with Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Maize, where we take pride in serving you.
Mark Collier at Collier Allstate knows mayhem can happen at any time in Kansas. Whether you live in the city, at one of Kansas's great small towns, or out in the Great Plains, Mark and Allstate will protect you from the effects of mayhem. Home, health, life, or business, Mark and his great staff will help you find the best protection. Mayhem is guaranteed to come. Let the Mark Collier Agency help you through it. Mark Collier, the Collier Agency, 204 North Main in Goddard. Give them a call at 316-413-4014 and on Facebook at Call Your Allstate.
El Dorado Livestock Auction, 2.5 miles east of El Dorado on Highway 54. Pipe cattle pens with a capacity to hold 5,000 head of cattle. Covered pens to hold 3,500 to 4,000 head. There's a fully modern vet barn and a fully computerized sale program for fast and accurate settlement. The sales ring, comfortable stadium seating in a climate-controlled arena, and new scales. The sale order on sale day, stock cows and bulls, followed by calves, then feeder cattle, then butcher cows and bulls. The goal at El Dorado Livestock Auction is to get the highest possible price for the producer by bringing in the best possible buyers. The auction barn staff provides a friendly, personal relationship with each customer. The staff gets to know the customer and his or her individual needs, and then they meet those needs with an honest, full-value approach that serves both buyer and seller. El Dorado Livestock Auction, a sale every Thursday at 11 a.m. El Dorado Livestock Auction, 2.5 miles east of El Dorado on Highway 54.
Call the Voice of Reason now on the ABC Recycling phone lines at 721-8255. This is The Big Talker, KQAM.
29 minutes past the hour. Welcome back into the Voice of Reason. Bottom of the hour news coming up in just a minute. Thanks again. The surprise call from Dan Hawkins, State Representative, District 100, House Majority Leader. And again, let me tell you something. We have an opportunity to make massive changes, to really gain, and we're going to do that right here on the show. We're going to do that in the community. We're going to do that in our state legislature. It's going to happen. I'm kind of excited about it. 316-721-8255. This portion of the Voice of Reason brought to you by Countryside Motors. Go check them out in Wellington. Make a trip down south, or if you're down there or outside of Wichita, hey, Countryside Motors is right there. 701 East 16th Street in Wellington. Give them a call, 620-326-7433. Online at countrysidemotors.net. Proud new sponsor of the Voice of Reason here on KQAM. We love that and appreciate that very much. Countryside Motors. Chevy, Buick, Polaris, whatever you may be looking for. 701 East 16th Street in Wellington. Go check them out online, countrysidemotors.net. Got to take a break. Jim Howell, Sedgwick County Commissioner, coming back on the Voice of Reason. It's a Wednesday. It's 2019. Let's make it happen.
Now back to the KQAM News Desk.
Democratic and Republican congressional leaders are expected to attend a briefing on border security at the White House this afternoon as the government remains partially shut down over funding for a border wall. President Trump asking in a tweet, "Let's make a deal." This as we're learning about another tear gas incident at the border. U.S. agents fired the gas into Mexico during the first hours of the new year. Leila Santiago tells us they were pushing back against about 150 migrants who were trying to breach the border fence at Tijuana.
25 people were taken into custody by U.S. officials. Where they are right now, no word on that. But some folks actually also turned around and stayed on the Mexico side.
President Trump responding to blistering criticism of his character and performance from incoming Utah Republican Senator Mitt Romney in a Washington Post opinion piece. Trump tweeting back, "I won big," and he didn't. Pre-market trading is pointing to more big losses possible today on Wall Street. Dow futures now down 329 points. I'm Michael Toscano.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please call this toll-free number right now. 800-390-9528. That's 800-390-9528. By calling your addiction team, you're taking the first steps to recovery. The help you need could be one call away. 800-390-9528. Make the free call now. 800-390-9528. Your addiction team is a third-party advertiser for various treatment centers and placement networks. Individual results will vary. Visit youraddictionteam.com/terms for more information.
At Anytime Fitness, we know that healthy doesn't happen on its own.
But together, we can make healthy happen.
With the right help.
In the right ways.
With an ally who listens.
With coaching and team workouts.
To get you to your healthier place.
Anytime Fitness. Let's make healthy happen.
January 1st through 11th. Join for $1 and get a free Jumpstart training package with a coach, valued at $100. Visit myhealthyhappens.com.
Baby, hey, you should do.
Kansas Mid-America Network News. Good Wednesday. Authorities in Barton County say foul play is not suspected after a 68-year-old Nickerson man was found dead in his car over the weekend. Deputies responded around 8:45 Saturday morning to a report of a vehicle stuck in a ditch near the Barton-Pawnee County line. Barton County Sheriff Brian Belinder said 68-year-old Ronald Ruber apparently became lost Friday and drove into a minimally maintained road, which was filled with freezing water, and then Ruber's car slid into the ditch. Authorities say health issues compounded by hypothermia contributed to the man's death. The Sunflower State's largest city amassed more murders this year than any other year in the past 20 years, and authorities say self-defense killings helped fuel the increase. The Wichita Eagle reports that at least 43 people died by homicide in Wichita in 2018, which is up 5 from 2017. Mid-American Network News.
Whether it's your home or your business, from roofing to foundation repair, Romani Construction of Wichita makes the process of construction or home and business improvement easy. Romani Construction involves you in the process from concept to completion. Better Business Bureau accredited, Romani Construction specializes in roofing, fire and water restoration, foundation repair, and concrete, and is locally owned and operated. From setting a start date when things actually get started to completing your project on time, call Romani Construction of Wichita, 252-7972.
Genuine starts at Schmidt & Sons. This is Leroy, the tractor man from Schmidt & Sons. There's one easy way to keep your AGCO equipment productive all year. That's with genuine preventive maintenance parts from AGCO. Whether it's a combine, tractor, hay products, tillage, or planting equipment, by using genuine AGCO replacement parts, you get the promise of maximum performance and increased uptime. Did you know you can purchase the parts you need for the upcoming year and have no payments and no interest charge for 180 days with a minimum order of $1,000? With an AGCO Plus charge card, it's just that simple, and we can help you with the application. You can always use those preventive maintenance parts like oil, filters, DEF, batteries, ground engaging parts, just to name a few. This is a super program. Come to Schmidt & Sons in Winfield or Mount Hope and take advantage of the program, or find us on the web at schmittinc.com.
Just a turning on the charm with a tractor in each arm. Down at Schmidt & Sons.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, sunny and clear, high around 38, low tonight around 22. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and 44, partly cloudy and 25 tomorrow night. Warming trend continues for Friday, sunny and clear, high 52, low 29. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 7:35, it's currently 19 degrees.
Hey, it's Joe Pags, and you're listening to your home for live and local conservative talk, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM, KQAM.
This segment of The Voice of Reason on KQAM brought to you by Riverside Cafe, home of the 3-pound burger and hand-cut fries, plus breakfast all day long. 2 Wichita locations and 824 North Baltimore in Derby. Riverside Cafe. Defending the rights of every Kansan.
I'm not being aggressive, I'm being dominant.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
You know, every year brings its new challenges, and this year we're going to have, nonetheless, I mean, we're going to see some new challenges, some new exciting things happen as we get to fight, even at the local level, which is what we get to plan on each and every day. Welcome back in, 36 minutes past the hour. This is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hoosier. Great to have you along for the ride on 2019's train. It's time for the train to pull out of the station. What do you say? It's called the train of conservatism. It's called the train of traditionalism. It's called the train of anti-whatever other stuff is happening on the other side of the aisle. I don't even know anymore. I shared a post on Facebook yesterday for the new year with, it looked like a Charlie Brown thing, and the two characters were talking, and one of them's like, oh, yeah, the Democratic liberal scientists can prove man-made climate change is happening. And the other looked at him and said, they can't even tell that there's actually decipher between two genders anymore. How are they supposed to do that? And maybe this year, our New Year's resolution is going to be the fact that we can actually have some common sense again. Common sense, reason, rationale, and some lack of lunacy. Because I just don't want to deal with it this year. I really don't. I've realized the more and more I focus on the political stuff, the farther right that I tend to go personally. I don't usually bring that to the show a whole lot because I try and be the fair and balanced, and I am fair and balanced, and I'm reasonable, and I listen to all sides, and I listen to everything. At the same time, though, when you hear just stupid all the time, you just get really frustrated, and you're like, I'm done. Not going to deal with that anymore. And that's really what this year's going to be like. We're going to do our thing. We're going to advance our way. We're going to put our head down. We're going to put our head to the grindstone. We're going to do our thing. And then we're going to look up and say, oh, yeah, look how far we've come because we've advanced our agenda. We're going to advance conservatism the way that we actually need to. Welcome into the show. 316-721-8255. 316-721-TALK. We have Jim Howell on the line. But first, I want to sneak in a phone call here on our ABC Recycling studio lines. Line number 1. Good morning. Who's this?
Hello, this is Pat.
Hey, good morning, Pat. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good.
And thank you for your show.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
My concern in education is I'm afraid that we're not having the textbooks reviewed to see what's being taught, if there is any American history taught, and I'm feeling this way because of the way so many young people seem to believe in socialism, that it's the way to go. And I just wonder how our textbooks are reviewed and how do we make sure that our conservatism is really taught in the schools so that the young people can know about America.
It's a really great point.
That's what I'm concerned about.
No, you're right. I mean, that is a really great concern to have because no longer do we review. I mean, I remember the days kind of sort of when I was in school and my parents would kind of look at the books and then go to the PTA meetings and go to the school board meetings and say, look, I don't like this book or I think this book should be enforced or we should bring this book in to have them read and that sort of thing. We don't do that a whole lot today. And here's my question is I don't get why. I mean, I get history doesn't change. Our interpretation of history may change, but I don't think that history books themselves should be edited or changed or updated unless it's just adding new history to it, things that happened 10 years ago that weren't history 10 years ago because it was the present time.
Oh, you're right there, and that's where I think the interpretation is not correct. They're not giving a correct history.
Exactly, because I'm pretty, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that the outcome of World War II actually changed from when we updated the history book 20 years ago. I mean, that was still the Nazis. They were still socialists. Hitler was still under the Socialist Party. He became a fascist and overturned, which, I mean, led from socialism, took over, exterminated 6 million individuals, started a war trying to take over the world. I'm pretty sure that history has not changed. Why do we need to change the interpretation of it in our history books? And because of that, now we have individuals saying, oh, you know what, socialism's not that bad of a thing because they don't learn what it's done in history over time.
I don't even believe civics is taught anymore.
Yeah, I don't even know if they have any. I'm sure that there are some civics classes, but even if there are, they're kind of done in a really weird way. Pat, I appreciate that. Hey, Happy New Year to you. I appreciate the phone call because you're absolutely right. It's time for us to look at the curriculum again for the schools to see exactly what's being taught and kind of what we're doing with our books. And yeah, why do we need to change the history book? Other than adding new stuff to it for new things that weren't in the history book prior that are now in our quote-unquote history, why do we need to change the way that World War I, World War II, the Revolutionary War, the Founding Fathers, why our interpretation of them, our outlook on them needs to be changed? It hasn't changed. As far as I'm aware, history hasn't changed. Just our outlook on it and what they want us to view as history. It is that time. We do it every single week on a Wednesday, and even during the time there is no county commission meeting. Really excited to have back on the line with us here, Sedgwick County Commissioner Mr. Jim Howell is with us. Jim, Happy New Year to you, my friend. Welcome in.
Well, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Andy.
It's going to be a good one. I tell you what, I've been saying this. I am pumped up. I'm enthusiastic. 2019 is going to be our year to do a lot of change, to make a lot of good stuff happen, and fight back some lunacy that's happening from the local all the way up to the federal government. Maybe, just maybe, we can do some positive things. What do you think?
Well, I sure appreciate your positive attitude, but somehow I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm the eternal optimist. I mean, that's the way I look at it. There's always a way to do it. It's just whether we actually make it happen or not.
Well, it's not looking good at the moment. I mean, you know what? I have more faith in what's going on in the federal government right now than I do what's going on in the state and the local. So I flip things over. I probably should say that. That's not really true. I don't have any faith in Washington at all, but
Well, yeah.
Things are different than they used to be.
Well, but maybe we're on that same playing field, that level field right now of what are we really going to see? I mean, the stagnation we may see at the state level will be entertaining. The county is going to be a little bit different of a view going into this year. The city council, I think, has some things going for them if we can focus on some good stuff there. So, I mean, we have, again, opportunity. It's whether we actually make it happen or not. And, again, like no meeting today. It is the new year. You guys don't have a meeting yet, but next week is the last one for a lot of these county commissioners, or the 2 county commissioners that are leaving the county commission.
Well, if anybody wants to have some taxpayer-paid for cookies and cake, this is their opportunity, because we have 3 events back-to-back. One of them is next Wednesday. That's where we say goodbye to 2 commissioners, Commissioner Ranzaw and Commissioner Unruh. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people show up to say nice things, but we would love to have more people show up and say nice things. And, it is truly going to be a time to reflect upon their service and see what they've done. And so I expect it to be mostly ceremonial. It'll be an interesting meeting. Of course, we'll pay our bills and things like that, but mostly it's going to be about those 2 commissioners. And then Sunday, the 13th, we have our oath of office ceremony. I expect the non-elect commissioners, I should say, the 2 that are not in election cycle, will probably attend. So I expect to see all 5 of the new board members together, maybe for the first time, on Sunday the 13th at 2 p.m. when we have our oath of office ceremony, followed by cookies and cake. And then we have January the 16th, which is the following Wednesday, is our first meeting with our new commissioners. And we have what's called Pass the Gavel ceremony. That's where we elect a new chairman and a new pro tem for the following, I should say, for 2019. And so those will be 3 interesting meetings, and each one of those has cookies and cake and speeches attached to it. So very interesting times for our commission. Other than that, the other thing on the schedule, which I think is always interesting, but Wednesday the 9th, which is, of course, is next Wednesday, we have a legislative dinner that we do privately on the 3rd floor. It is the press is invited, of course, but the public isn't able to attend that one, unfortunately.
Sure.
It's from 6 o'clock to 6:30, but at 6:30 it switches over to a legislative forum. And at the legislative forum, of course, you've been to that, and it's always interesting to talk about Medicaid expansion and legalization of marijuana. All those topics will usually come up, and the place is usually pretty well attended. And anybody who wants to speak can sign up to speak, as long as you get there early enough to sign up, because they do have limited time speaker slots. And then the following day at WSU at 1 o'clock p.m., this is in the Radican Center, the Student Center, 1 o'clock, they have numerous businesses and government agencies. People like City of Derby will speak, City of Wichita will speak, the Sedgwick County will speak, and, you name it. Everybody that's any organization that wants money or wants legislative change, will speak. We'll be speaking to the South Central Legislative Delegation. That meeting lasts about 3 hours. It starts at 1 o'clock p.m. on Thursday the 10th, and so that's another interesting meeting. Those are all things coming up here quickly. I'm sorry to preamble through all that, but
no, that's good stuff.
We have a number of.
I'm glad. Well, I'm glad you mentioned a lot of these, because it is stuff that we can go to and we can have some fun with, especially the legislative forum next week. I will be at that, as I was last year, and may have to. Last time I made comments last year, I don't know. It came back with some not so good response from a lot of the people in there. So I don't know. Maybe we should show up in Groves this year and really make a statement.
Well, you have a great audience, and I would tell you, this is one of my takeaways is usually the left end of the political spectrum is well represented there.
Yes.
And conservatives tend to stay home, and maybe they're busy paying bills and working. I don't know, but they don't tend to show up to this thing. And so we have a very slanted representation of people's opinion. And so I guess I would like to see more conservatives planning to show up there on the 9th, the evening of the 9th, planning to speak about something. Usually they give everybody about 1.5 minutes or so to say something.
Sure.
So you don't have a lot of time, but in 1.5 minutes you can certainly articulate, come up with a message for legislators on how to be conservative and encourage them to toe the line. You talked about school choice this morning. Mm-hmm. What a great topic. These legislators need to hear from people that we support them when they fight for school choice. So that's the type of thing when people have an opportunity to speak to a large group of legislators all at one time. And this doesn't happen very often. So this is a great opportunity. I hope people will write this one down. Wednesday the 9th, 6:30. Yeah. We have a couple of topics, of course, we haven't brought up for a while on purpose. The entrance to the zoo will be a topic in January, as well as our administration building. replacement potentially. We'll be talking about that probably sometime in January. And, of course, we have our budget retreat coming up in February. You probably don't know this, Andy. Maybe you do. Our budget process takes nearly a year to get through each budget. So we start the budget process again as soon as we pass a budget. And the first time the commissioners will really make their wishes known will be at the budget retreat, which happens in February. And so we'll get to hear from our new commissioners, Commissioner Pete Meitzner and Commissioner Lacey Cruz, and hear their goals for Sedgwick County and find out what they want to see us spend money on. And that would be a very interesting discussion. Now that we've never had a discussion with these two new commissioners to find out officially what is their position on our budget. And they'll have their chance to make their wishes known. That's also a public meeting. It's usually attended by staff, but anybody's welcome to attend that. And the location and time has not been announced yet.
Sure.
And then, of course, I expect to be a reconsideration. You talk about how the commission's going to change. Well, losing conservative, arguably the most conservative commissioner that Sedgwick County's had in decades. He's just a tremendous commissioner. Commissioner Ranzaw, I think, sets the bar for conservative values, and he is leaving. So certainly we're going to see a change in how we operate as a county, but it's typical for a new legislative body to reconsider. We'll see this at the state level too, and we'll probably see this at the federal level. But we're going to see reconsideration of policies that have maybe happened that some of the people coming in have promised to revisit. And so I expect we'll see numerous things come across our agenda in the next couple of months of reconsideration of things that they felt like weren't handled the way they would want to see them handled over the last couple of years. And so we'll see reconsideration of policy significantly visited, I'm guessing, in the next couple of months. And so this will certainly be an interesting time for people to pay attention to the county, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting to know these two new commissioners. I'm trying to go into this with a positive attitude. I have to. I need to work with everybody, and for good policy forward, I need to have good relationships with all of my colleagues, and so I hope to continue to build that. But it is going to be obviously challenging times.
Well, it is going to be sad to see Richard Ranzaw go, as you mentioned, one of the more conservative commissioners that we've seen in a long time, and now you're going to be holding that mantle. So let's represent the way that we can, and you're right, it is going to be a different makeup. I hope we don't see a whole lot of change policy-wise. I know that we've seen a lot of changes with the drama that continues on there with some of the investigations and other things going on. But policy-wise, from the deregulation to capping ourselves at our debt to trying to spend cash when we can, that sort of thing, if we're able to continue on with that message and that mindset, then we can at least kind of coast through the next couple of years and then see where we are from there.
Well, that's certainly a positive way to look forward to this. I hope that's what happens, but I'm a little bit. I'm suspecting. I'm expecting that. Yeah, I'm expecting that things will be probably not all the things that I want. This commission doesn't really represent my values for the most part at this point. I think that I use the word. I'm kind of on an island. The things are happening. I can't change them for the most part. But that's the nature of politics. I'm obviously in the minority. I think I have been for a couple of years. And even more so now, I expect to see a lot of 1-4 votes. We'll see if that plays out the way I think. Not to be the troublemaker, but I will continue to articulate conservative values, and I'll articulate common sense and good things. And I expect I'll be alone on some of these things. So we'll see if the media picks it up and reports me as a crazy person or reports me as common sense. That's one of my biggest fears is I don't get to make up the message. Someone else gets to write the story, and usually there's more information that I would like to share with people, but it doesn't usually make the media, and so somebody else gets to put the message together. And so one of my concerns is, as we go forward, if you see a 1-4 vote and it's Howell by himself, like, you got to ask yourself, what's really going on here? Is Howell just crazy, or is he demonstrating kind of a conservative position, and that's why the other 4 went the other way? That's a good question. I hope that people will ask that as these 1-4 votes begin to happen.
Well, you know what? And that's why we have an outlet like this, to be able to look a little bit deeper into it, unveil the layers of the onion, and not allow the media to dictate the mindset of a lot of these issues. So we appreciate that very much. Jim Howell, Sedgwick County Commissioner. We got to wrap up here already. But again, no meeting today. We had the last meeting with the old commissioners next week, along with the legislative session and meetup, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. And then we'll see where the commission goes from here. But Jim, Happy New Year to you, my friend. I appreciate it very much. And next week's going to be a fun one.
It'll be fun. We'll talk again next Wednesday.
Hey, always a good time right there. Sedgwick County Commissioner Jim Howell, we appreciate it very much. Got to take a break. 8 minutes at the top of the hour. More of your phone calls when we come back. It's open lines to you in the 8 o'clock hour right here on The Voice of Reason. Stay tuned.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. Live cattle futures were mixed on Monday, the last trading day of 2018. December expired at 124.80. Feeder cattle futures were lower in the front months. Deferred contracts were higher. The CME Feeder Cattle Index was up 48 cents December 28th at 147.64. Wholesale boxed beef prices were higher Monday afternoon. Choice boxes were up 94 cents at 215.35. Select boxes were $3.14 higher at 210.66. USDA estimated Monday's federally inspected cattle slaughter at 71,000 head. A majority of last week's cash cattle trade was reported at $123. Lean hog futures were steady to 57.5 cents higher in most contracts Monday. The CME Lean Hog Index was down a penny from the previous day at 53.11 December 27th. The USDA pork carcass cutout value down 27 cents Monday afternoon, an average weighted price of $70.19. The national base cash hog carcass value is 35 cents higher, with a weighted average of 45.65. Federally inspected hog slaughter estimated at 407,000 head. Turning our attention now to corn, soybeans, and wheat. Corn futures into the final day of 2018 fractionally mixed on year-end position squaring. Trading resumes at 8:30 this morning. The nearby continuous chart shows corn was up 6.9% in 2018. Soybean futures resumed trading at the same time, about 8:30 this morning. They were fractionally mixed on Monday. On the front month continuous chart, soybeans were down 7.28% for calendar year 2018. Perhaps that was less than you thought. Soybean meal was down $2.70 a ton. Soy oil was up 3 points. Wheat futures posted losses of 7 to 8.25 cents in most winter wheat contracts on Monday. Minneapolis was down 1 to 2 cents. On the year, Kansas City hard red winter wheat was up 14.39%. Markets kicking off at 8:30 this morning. Back to business after the holiday. Market information, Mid-America Ag Network.
Waring and Fiegel Optometry at 2121 North Tyler, number 302, has a selection of prescription sun eyewear that's so bright everyone can be wearing shades. Waring and Fiegel Optometry has the names in sun eye apparel that people seek. Prescription eyewear from Maui Jim, Oakley, Wiley X, Rudy Project, and even sunglasses from Amphibia. Squinting in this beautiful sunshine doesn't have to be a thing. What are you wearing? Waring and Fiegel Optometry, 21st in Tyler.
You know, it's getting harder and harder to find a place to work on my four-wheeler and off-road vehicles. I mean, any place will sell them, but not every place works on ATVs and side-by-sides. Well, except Countryside Motors in Wellington. They're an authorized Polaris dealer, but also do all the service work and maintenance work right there. And that's for most makes and models, too. Countryside Motors has certified technicians on site and can take care of you right there. Whether you're geared up for a hunt trip, working on the ranch, or hitting the dunes, get service work done at Countryside Motors in Wellington. Come on out to the country.
And now this message about fully customized vehicle wraps and graphics from Shire Graphics of Park City.
Park City's Shire Graphics has the highest quality of big truck and fleet graphics, from passenger vehicles to the big rigs and everything in between. No matter the size of your fleet, Shire Graphics of Park City is the area's leader in digitally printed vehicle wraps. Superior quality digital vehicle graphics from Shire Graphics, where their niche is your need in vehicle graphics, from single vehicle to fleet. Shire Graphics at shiregraphics.com.
When it comes to cleaning homes, dust, grime, and soap scum don't stand a chance when a team of highly trained dirt assassins from the Maids hit the scene. Ruthlessly efficient, trained in a 22-step process perfected through years of practice by the Maids. These masters of messes have only one motto: we fight dirty. Call now for a free estimate and schedule every other week service. Call the Maids, 316-832-9058. or visit maids.com.
Don't miss more ways to save on a new Bobcat compact track loader at White Star Machinery. Choose a cash rebate up to $10,000 or take advantage of 0% financing for 60 months with no payments for 90 days with approved credit. Put built tough, priced right Bobcat equipment to work and get peace of mind with our 2-year, 2,000-hour full warranty. Why wait? Start saving today. Check it out on our website, whitestarmachinery.com.
White Star, get the job done.
Your home for everything politics on KQAM, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM.
This half hour of The Voice Reason brought to you by Wichita Family Dental. 2 locations on the east side, on the west side, online at wichitafamilydental.com. They'll be back in studio with us starting Monday again, like they do every Monday at 7:30. Look forward to chatting with them. We appreciate them supporting us here on the KQAM airwaves and The Voice Reason. Welcome in 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. Thanks again to Jim Howell, Sedgwick County Commissioner, joining the program as he does every Wednesday, even when they don't have a meeting. And it's kind of important for us to realize that there's some major changes going on at the county commission level. So we appreciate that very much for what he does and what he's fighting for. And let's keep their feet on the fire to fight for the right things. I did go to Lacey Cruz's Facebook page, and I tried to send a Facebook friend request, see if we can at least reach out to her, get her on the show. And I did kind of chuckle. The very first thing that's on her page as we look at it was the Sierra Club Environmentalists and Grant for Kansas Primary and Secondary Educators. There it is, Sierra Club. Enviros taking over, trying to have an influence, trying to have a say. Very cute, very wonderful, and we know exactly. Not socialist, though, not socialist, according to her not liking that term. I mean, come on, if you're going to advocate for it, just admit it. Just, come out with it. Just admit it. Admit what we stand for. Admit what we like. We like big government. We like big regulation. We like the businesses maybe to control to some degree what they have, but at least we have to tell them how to do their business and what to do with their business and all that good jazz. So that way they can technically own it, but we're going to control it. It's not socialism. Come on. That's democratic socialism right there. There it is. Got to take a break. Hour number 3. It's open lines to you. No guests next hour. Just you and I chit in the chat. It's time to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. This is The Voice Reason. Stay tuned. Lots more coming up.
Pure Talalay Bliss Latex mattresses from Derby Mattress. You consumers have validated what the experts have already known. Pure Talalay Bliss Latex mattresses outlast the memory foams, and Derby Mattress customers have reported back the best night's sleep ever. Cooler, better, more comfortable sleep, and right now at Derby Mattress, with the purchase of your Pure Talalay Bliss Latex mattress, a free basic adjustable base, Simmons Beauty Rest, and Serta Eye Comfort on sale now too. Derby Mattress, 105 South Baltimore in Derby.
Whatever your business, count on EMC Insurance, because our business is protecting your business. EMC Insurance Companies has the knowledge and expertise to provide you with the right insurance coverage options. And when you insure your business with EMC, you receive the added value of our free loss control services, no matter the size of your company. Contact your local independent insurance agent and ask about insurance from EMC. In Lindsborg, call Fuquay Insurance at 227-3304.
This is a Steckline Communications station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita Proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center, brought to you by Heartland Avionics and JD Aviation, your aircraft maintenance partners at Augusta Municipal Airport. Learn more at iflyaugusta.com.
Good Wednesday morning. Wichita police have arrested a 17-year-old boy in connection to 2 Friday armed robberies, one of which led to the fatal shooting of one of the suspects. Officer Charlie Davidson said the 17-year-old was lodged into juvenile detention on allegations of 3 counts of aggravated robbery. The first holdup happened around noon Friday at the Family Dollar on South Woodlawn. Around 3 o'clock Friday afternoon, another robbery at the B&H Fast Trip on South Seneca. It was there that one of the suspects, 16-year-old Deshaun Bradford, was shot by a customer in the course of the robbery and later died of his injuries. The city of Wichita amassed more homicides in 2018 than in any other year since 1995. Wichita Eagle reports that at least 43 people died by homicide in Wichita in 2018, which is up 5 from 2017. Wichita police say the increase can, in part, be attributed to self-defense killings, which increased by 5. Kansas is among several states where residents have no legal obligation to retreat from an attacker. Firefighters in Hutchinson responded early yesterday morning to a 2-alarm fire on South Main Street. Hutchinson Fire Chief Steve Beer said that the South Main Street building was a wood hobby shop. No one was in the building when the fire was reported, but Chief Beer said the building had been used for a New Year's Eve party until about 3:30 yesterday morning. Approximately 40 firefighters responded to the scene. The building was deemed a total loss. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. November's numbers are in, and Wichita's Eisenhower National Airport had a record month with over 145,000 passengers flying in and out of the state's largest city. Officials at the airport say cargo activity was also up by about 15.5%. I'm Rick Everett from the news desk. We now turn it over to the sports desk and Doug Downs.
There's only one game left in this college football season. That would be the national championship game this next Monday. Yesterday, a whole slate of college football bowl games capped off by the two biggest with the Rose Bowl and Ohio State defeating Washington 28-23 and the Sugar Bowl as Texas out of the Big 12 knocked off the number 5 team in the country, Georgia, 28-21. Now we set our sights on college basketball. It doesn't get any bigger to start off the conference season for the Jayhawks than tonight as the number 23rd ranked Oklahoma Sooners come to Allen Fieldhouse for an 8 p.m. tip. A game that can be heard on 1410 AM, 93.9 FM, KGSO. From the sports desk, I'm Doug Downs.
Whether by themselves or in a group, deer are a problem this time of year.
They're waiting, they're hiding, and plotting.
Don't let the lone kamikaze or Bambi and his friends take out your truck.
Give your truck the protection it needs and deserves with a grill guard from Continental Truck Accessories. We have what you need to protect your investment, your pride, and joy.
Your truck will be looking sharp and have the upper hand. So stop by our showroom at 6701 South Broadway today.
Or call
Continental Truck Accessories
for all your truck accessory needs.
Send your taste buds on an exciting flavor vacation at Hurricane Sports Grill. Indulge in Hurricane's made-to-order jumbo chicken wings with 35 fabulous sauces from our sauce bar, half-pound burgers, and savory tacos. With 20 beers on tap, including local crafts or your choice of Hurricane specialty cocktails, come and enjoy your favorite sport on any of our 30 TVs or call ahead for carry-out game day platters. Don't forget Hurricane's daily specials, including Monday's all-you-can-eat chicken wings. Hurricane Sports Grill, a fun-filled, family-friendly environment at 13th and Tyler.
A DUI can literally stop a person and their vehicle in its tracks. If you know someone who's gotten a nudge from the judge and their vehicle can't budge without an ignition interlock device, the next right move is Just Right Auto Repair. Just Right Auto Repair at 4312 West Central is Wichita's Intoxilock Ignition Interlock Installation Specialist. Intoxilock is the preferred device of choice among customers and monitoring authorities. Make your vehicle just right in the Quartz site. Just Right Auto Repair, your Intoxilock Ignition Interlock Installation Specialist.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.
Democratic and Republican congressional leaders are expected to attend a briefing on border security at the White House this afternoon as the government remains partially shut down over funding for a border wall. President Trump asking in a tweet, "Let's make a deal." This as we're learning about another tear gas incident at the border. U.S. agents fired the gas into Mexico during the first hours of the new year. Leila Santiago tells us they were pushing back against about 150 migrants who were trying to breach the border fence at Tijuana.
25 people were taken into custody by U.S. officials. Where they are right now, no word on that. But some folks actually also turned around and stayed on the Mexico side.
President Trump responding to blistering criticism of his character and performance from incoming Utah Republican Senator Mitt Romney in a Washington Post opinion piece. Trump tweeting back, "I won big," and he didn't. Pre-market trading is pointing to more big losses possible today on Wall Street. Dow futures now down 329 points. I'm Michael Toscano.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Propane Central. Residential, commercial, industrial, and agricultural. Visit them online at propanecentral.com.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, sunny and clear, high around 38, low tonight around 22. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and 44, partly cloudy and 25. Tomorrow night, warming trend continues for Friday, sunny and clear, high 52, low 29. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 8:06, it's currently 19 degrees.
Hi, it's Joe Pags. Join me on your drive home today at 5, right here on the Big Talker, KQAM.
It's time for Reason.
The elderly and disabled people obviously need it. Let's take care of them. That's the purpose of the program. We want to take care of people who honestly, truly need it with this program. Expanding it does not help them in any way, shape, or form because they're already covered. We're expanding it to overload the system, to put people on it that don't need to be on it, and then wonder why the system fails. And then say we're not expanding it enough.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Then I'll get on my knees and pray. We don't get fooled again. Don't get fooled again.
Well, I gotta say, each hour, each day just gets better and better and better. Welcome into the Voice of Reason, hour number 3 of the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on the Big Talker. 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. We are simulcasting on TV, KGPT TV, channel 2610. We are simulcasting on YouTube Live as well. Go to youtube.com, find KQAM Radio. You can like it, subscribe to it, watch it live, leave a comment, watch the podcast. And by the way, that is the only podcast we have going right now is YouTube. So if you want to watch or listen to any of the previous shows, go onto YouTube, find KQAM Radio, subscribe to the page, and watch them all right there. Welcome in. It is a 2019 episode. It is a brand new day, a brand new year. Our New Year's resolution, political New Year's resolution, is we're going to make this year a year of conservatism. Let's get you pumped up, ready to go for it. I know it's a Wednesday. You only got a couple days for this week, but still, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a big one. Let's do this thing. Let's advance conservatism starting today. Come on.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Hey, there it is, 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. If you're going to join into the program, we'd love to hear from you. It is open lines to you this hour. No guests, just you and I chit in the chat. I figured we'd start off the brand new year. I want to hear, kind of like what we did on Friday, your political New Year's resolution. What do you want to fix? Do you want to focus on? I think that we have a lot to get to as we do have the legislative session that will be starting here relatively soon. We have some ideas coming out of ways we can actually fix a lot of things that we can focus on. We have the government shutdown going on right now that's still 25% of the federal government, quote unquote, is being affected by this. Yeah. I call that shenanigans, but whatever. That's cool. Also, I do want to touch on, we haven't had a chance to talk about this much, but as of over the weekend, I'm sure you heard about the shooting as an armed customer killed a 16-year-old who was armed and robbing a Wichita gas station along with, 3 or 4 other people? I think there was 4 total. And the individual, the customer, now this shows again, when we talk about the Second Amendment, when we talk about arming yourself, I mentioned in the last hour that nothing is guaranteed. Your next day is not guaranteed. You could have an illness that you don't know about. You could get hit by a bus. You could be in a car accident. You could have a robber coming in and open fire. You could have something happen, and like that, it's gone. Everything, your plan for the year, your plan for, not to bring you down, I don't mean to bring you down, but it could be gone. Cherish every single day and protect yourself the best that you can. Obviously, you can't protect yourself from everything. But as you hear the sob story from the federal government saying, oh, look, all these federal workers, they're not working, they're struggling, they live paycheck to paycheck. Why? It's unfair. We need to open up the government to give them the paychecks again. Really? Really? Is that what you said about every corporation that had to shut their doors because they made bad business decisions? Is that what you said to every retail store because the economy went down and people were spending their money and you had small mom and pop shops that had to close doors? Did you give them the bailout? Did you reopen their store for them because they couldn't survive without that paycheck? Is that what you did? Because nothing's guaranteed, including working for the federal government. So get over yourself. Just because you work for the federal government and you have federal money coming in, your taxpayer money coming in, doesn't mean that your job is guaranteed and that you're not going to go through the hardships and struggles like everybody else. The private sector is doing very well. Move and get a job in the private sector. And if you're a non-essential personnel in the federal government, you probably don't need to be there in the first place. I'm just saying. So we have that. And then we had the shooting that happened here over the weekend. And it was obviously a travesty, terrible thing. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of the 16-year-old. Now, I've been reading some of the social media comments, and there were some that said that they knew the individual, the 16-year-old, and how to kind of a troubled life, troubled past. You know, the parents either weren't there or they separated or left or something. The grandparents were watching the kid and doing the best that they could. And just during the off time of the school year, during the holiday, got with a few other individuals and went and robbed a store and ended up getting killed. And our thoughts and prayers go out to the family. At the same time, the hate-filled remarks that you see on social media and from other individuals saying, how dare this citizen have a firearm, how dare this citizen open fire, and how dare he kill a 16. And by the way, the headline from the news media, and I'm sorry, Wichita Eagle, armed customer kills 16-year-old armed robbery suspect. A suspect. You know, they're in the store, they have the guns, they're robbing the place. He's a suspect. He's not guaranteed. It's the whole legal jargon. But they have to play on the emotional strings of the fact that it was a 16-year-old kid. Look, here's the thing. You broke the law. You threatened somebody. You had a firearm, or your associates had a firearm. You're doing something illegal. You robbed a guy, and he opened fire on you because he had a concealed carry weapon. End of story. Case closed. The headline should be armed robbery or customer stops robbery or opens fire on robbers as they break into the store. End of story. You don't need any more details. Bad guys did something bad. Good guy had a gun. Good guy got robbed. He opened fire. They don't know how many shots were fired. They don't know. I don't know if anybody else was injured or not. But the big story is 16-year-old got killed. And it's devastating. It's terrible. At the same time, thank you, armed citizen, for having a firearm, for protecting yourself, and doing what everybody else should have done. There should have been 20 people in that gas station with firearms, and they all should have opened fire on all 4 of these individuals and said, no, you're not going to do this. You're not going to break the law. You're not going to rob. We live in a society today to where, you heard the story, what was it, about a year ago, where the grandparents were trying to sue this older gentleman for the two brothers, or they were friends or something, but they were young kids that lived with their grandparents, broke in there, had the brass knuckles. They were going to beat the old guy and then rob his house and everything. He had an AR-15, killed them, and they said that the punishment was worse than what the crime they committed. They should have just let them rob it and then throw them in prison and rehabilitate them. That's the way we should have done it. Just let them do their thing. That's not the kind of society we live in. If you come into a store, if you come into a house, you have a firearm, you're robbing somebody, they have the right to protect themselves. They have the right to protect their property. End of story. But to pull on the emotional strings, the 16-year-old kid ended up dying. Yeah, it's sad. Shouldn't have been there robbing a store. I don't know. That's just a thought for me. I know it sounds heartless. It sounds horrible. At the end of the day, though, that's the only story that we should have here. Now, the investigation is going to continue on. It doesn't say in this whether the actual 16-year-old was armed or not. I'm assuming he was, because every other individual, the robbers, were armed, according to the story. Not sure if he was or not. But if you rob me and you steal my wallet and I have a gun and I have an opportunity to defend my stuff, I'm going to do it. That's just the way it is. But now we pull the heartstrings. Hey, 16-year-old, he had his whole life ahead of him. He could have had so much more potential. We could have fixed it. We could have fixed him. We could have got him on the right track. We could have done stuff. This would have been the opportunity to rehabilitate. No, I don't understand where we start going after the fact that we're focusing on the customer that had a firearm protecting his stuff, as opposed to the fact that there are people breaking the law, breaking into a store, robbing the customers, and how they should not be punished to the fullest extent, including the right for individuals to protect themselves and their property. That should be the focal point of the story. But in today's society, we don't do that. We don't do it nearly as much. Let me put it that way. We don't do it nearly as much because it's about the emotional string pulling. It's about, the 16-year-old kid. I get it. It's sad. It's terrible. Shouldn't have been robbing a store. End of story. End of discussion. 316-721-8255. Call me up on the ABC Recycling Hotlines here. We want to hear from you at the KQAM studios. Line number 1. Good morning. Who's this?
Happy New Year, Andy. It's Sue.
Happy New Year, Sue. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Hey, we are living the dream. I'm excited for this year.
Well, I am too. Yeah, we can only hope, right?
We can only hope, and we're going to fight the best that we can and never give up. You know what? At the end of the day, then I think that's going to come out, and we're going to prevail in the end.
Well, I'm with you. I hope so. You know, this gun thing, the first thing I wanted to say is this. Kansas is getting interesting with its news coverage. And what I've noticed the last few years is if you take the first report that you hear about a story like this robbery, which happened not that far from where I live, by the way.
Sure.
and that's kind of a little bit of a rough area right there. And you take the first thing they say, and you hold on to that, and then you listen to all the subsequent reporting about it.
Yes.
You will start noticing how they start manipulating the story to fit the right narrative.
Sure.
Because the original story that was told about this was that 4 armed men, all 4 of them were armed, came into the store. One of them put a gun on the customer and demanded his wallet, and he got shot instead of a wallet.
Yes.
Now, as you know, over time, this story has really been twisted around, and unfortunately, we find out that it was 4 teenage hoodlums from the area that were on foot, clearly didn't even have a car.
Sure.
And it's a tough deal, you know. You hate to see that kind of stuff happening.
It's terrible, but yeah, I mean, look, you're right. I mean, it's turned into, instead of saying the headline, look, there were 4 members, 4 armed robbers that broke into a store, that stole wallets, that tried to rob the convenience store, rob the gas station, whatever, and then left. And look at what's going on in our community because there's 4 teenagers, 4 young kids that feel like they need to do that. It's, oh, look, one of them died because there was a terrible human being that had a concealed carry protecting his stuff, and he ended up shooting a 16-year-old kid.
Well, and I don't even know that he was protecting his stuff. If I was in a store armed and somebody put a gun to my face and demanded anything from me, why in the world would I assume that if I gave them my purse or my wallet, that might be good enough, that there might not be some kind of gunplay or anything else going on? You can't assume that when somebody's holding a gun on you that they're not going to use it. You're a chump if you do.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So
It's like
I don't know. It's just sad, and I hope that maybe, just maybe, some of these criminals will think twice the more we hear these kinds of stories, that they know that there's always a possibility that if they walk into a public place and they're armed and they threaten people, that somebody there is going to shoot back.
Well, and moving forward, that's what the narrative has to be, and what the discussion needs to be is, look, we've opened it up. There's constitutional carry. We're not going to repeal that. More and more people are carrying firearms in more places because they have the right to do so. So you better second guess if you're going to do something stupid like this. Instead, though, the media's turned it into the sob story of, oh, maybe we should revisit this whole constitutional carry thing because a 16-year-old innocent little kid ended up dying because he got shot as he was, just trying to survive, and therefore we need to look at the gun laws because another person died as the homicide rate increases and as gun violence increases and all this other garbage. We need to look at the guns. We don't need to look at the fact that we have young kids that are out trying to actually loot stores and rob people's wallets and stuff. That's the narrative we need to have, is you better start second guessing what you think you're going to do. I remember the story about a year ago of trying to go into, what was it, a wig store, and they got stopped because the owner or the manager at that time had a firearm behind the desk there, and they ended up getting stopped. That's going to happen more frequently. So you're right. Maybe we can change the narrative and say, hey, let's be a little more cautious if you try and do something stupid because you don't know who's going to be there with another firearm.
Well, you would hope so. And, not only that, we need to remember that, just like I said, people, if you're out here in life, you should always assume that if somebody is threatening you, they're going to make good on that threat, and you need to be prepared to protect yourself and your family.
We don't negotiate with terrorists. That's what I say. I love it. Exactly. I love it. Happy New Year to you. Appreciate it very much. You're spot on, and I couldn't agree more. Got to take a break. Got some other calls on the line. Am I wrong? Are we heartless for saying that? Or, you know what? Are we saying, you know what? We have the right to defend ourselves, and you're right. If we just give them the wallet or the purse, is that going to be enough? Are they going to do something stupid, or are we going to survive and fight for our life and actually have the right to defend ourselves? And if the bad guy ends up getting harmed, then, hey, maybe that shouldn't be the focus of the story. We'll do that when we come back. Stay here.
Hey, you. Thanks for checking out my video. I do appreciate the time you take out of your life to go on YouTube.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
I'll see you later.
There's been a lot of talk about 5G. As compared to 4G LTE, 5G is 20 times faster. You can download a full HD movie in less than 10 seconds. Sounds great, doesn't it? Kim Commando with your Wednesday Consumer Tech Update. Get tech news and extended interviews with the free Commando podcast, available on Apple, Google, or wherever you do get your podcasts. The next wave of fast data rates is coming this year, but you better start saving now. You'll probably have to retire your current device, even that new $1,000 iPhone. An exception is the Moto Z3. It's a 4G phone. It's already available. Next year, you can buy a 5G Moto Mod to add on to the phone. But smartphones are just a small piece of the 5G revolution. The real future is connecting our world together. Self-driving cars could talk to each other, making them safer. Augmented reality glasses could give us a new way of looking at the world around us. So hang on for the ride. I'm Kim Commando.
I may be America's digital pro, but even I enjoy forgetting the tech when it comes to the new Epson Fast Photo Scanner. Scan stacks of photos from wallet size to 8x10s, even Polaroids. Fast Photo offers automatic two-sided scanning, so you can capture any handwritten notes on the back. Damaged or faded photos? Fast Photo has the software to automatically restore your memories. And best of all, it's so easy. Order yours today when you visit Epson.com/fastphoto.
Indeed knows it's hard to find qualified candidates when you're hiring.
It's like finding a unicorn.
But when you post your job on Indeed, it's easy to find people with the skills you need.
Nurse practitioner, 4+ years experience, acute care certification.
Indeed has a huge pool of amazing candidates and screener tools that help you find your most qualified applicants.
Whoa, an entire short list of unicorns.
Now, get a $50 credit to give your first job posting premium placement at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, quality standards, and usage limits apply. Additional terms online.
If you're a contractor
or a do-it-yourselfer,
you owe it to yourself to shop Croft Lumber of Heston.
Of course there's lumber.
And there's roofing and siding.
And the renowned custom cupboard cabinets.
Drywall and insulation. Just price Croft Lumber of Heston.
Chances are, if you price Croft Lumber, you'll be done shopping.
And free delivery within 50 miles. Croft Lumber of Heston. 800-736-4951. 800-736-4951. Online at kropflumber.com.
When you think of Norris Collision Center of Goddard, of course you think of big city quality and small town service. That's why more people refer their friends to Norris Collision Center of Goddard. The little things that make big differences, like attention to detail and rental car assistance. But when you think Norris Collision Center of Goddard, do you think custom modifications, meticulous detailing services, paintless dent removal, leather and interior repair, or windshield replacement and window tinting? You should. Norris Collision Center of Goddard.
The Miller Minute with Dennis Miller.
I want to talk about cars. America's automotive preferences are changing, with some well-known vehicles being discontinued beginning in 2019. Times change, and so do styles. Although I still hold on to hope that my Hugo will be in vogue again, which is why I always have it ready to go at a moment's notice. The SUV, while considered unmarketable not long ago, now the best-selling cars are what they call crossover SUVs, which I think is salesman talk for smaller SUVs. They're selling well enough that we're seeing fewer compact cars and hatchbacks, and even some of the mid-sized hybrids are being phased out. Maybe Americans have dialed back the mine's bigger than yours thing and are buying cars that are comfortably fit for a family of 4 and their share of luggage, instead of custom ordering bunk beds and a hammock installed in the back of a Prius. Or maybe this is just a benefit to how overly sensitive we tend to be these days, and the majority of Americans are afraid of car-shaming anyone who doesn't exclusively drive an electric rollerblade. That's the Minute. I'm Dennis Miller.
Message and data rates may apply.
When did it become okay for men to be lazier, softer, fatter? We need to bring the men of this country back to greatness. And it's easier than ever with Ageless Male Max, a patent-pending formula with an ingredient that helps boost your total testosterone, promoting greater increases in muscle size and twice the reduction of body fat percentage than exercise alone. Plus, an amazing 64% increase in nitric oxide, which can be handy in the gym and in the bedroom. Take your manhood to the max by trying your first 30-day bottle free. Just pay shipping and handling. Not 10 days, not 15 days, but a full 30-day supply free when you text the word FAST to 797979. Finally, a formula that boosts total testosterone. If your results with Ageless Male Max are too intense, please decrease use. For your free bottle, text FAST to 797979. Text FAST to 797979.
Your home for local news is The Big Talker, 1480 AM and 1025 FM, KQAM.
ABC Recycling is the new sponsor of our phone lines here at the KQAM studios, 815 East Gilbert Street in Wichita. Here at abcrecyclingllc.com. Recycle whatever you may need, maybe your metal scraps, maybe cleaning out, you're getting ready for the spring cleaning, the winter cleaning, whatever you do, ABC Recycling. Check them out. We appreciate them hanging out with us and being a great sponsor, new sponsor here on the KQAM airwaves and the Voice of Reason with our studio-sponsored lines. And let's go right to the ABC Recycling phone lines at line number 2. Good morning. What's your name?
It's Wallace.
Wallace, what's going on, sir?
Hey, a couple things. So I had a New Year's resolution.
Okay.
New Year's Eve, just as the clock was coming up to midnight there, I decided that I was going to try to be more understanding and see things from a progressive standpoint. and by 12:01, that ended.
Yeah, that didn't work out very well. You tried, you opened up your mind, and then you just realized that you lost some brain cells in that minute of time too, right?
Yeah. I couldn't be that cruel and thoughtless. It just doesn't happen.
Just didn't work.
Yeah. So this shooting. It's interesting because, I've had a discussion with an old retired attorney friend of mine, and he likes to try to argue things from an attorney standpoint. He goes, look, that kid was given a death sentence, because if he would have been, arrested, the judge wouldn't have sentenced him to death for, robbing a store. And, and of course I told him, I was like, so should you have to put your life, should he have to shoot you in the face before he can, be convicted of a capital crime? I mean, and he goes, well, is your wallet, worth, killing him? I said, you know what? Don't ask me. Ask him if he's willing to die to get my wallet.
Right.
He's the one committing the offense. And
why is it turned around and saying it's on us for defending ourselves or defending our property or whatever? Why is it turned and saying, how dare you do that, when we should be looking and saying, what the hell are you doing trying to go in and rob somebody and rob a gas station?
Those guys, and at 16, I got to tell you, if it's 16, if they allow 16-year-old in a female body to go get abortions, I'm sorry, you should be treated as an adult. If you can make adult decisions and end an unborn baby, you're an adult. And these pre-men went in with guns, and their intent was to rob and potentially kill somebody.
Right.
The guy who's a concealed carry holder like me and anybody else out there, we don't wake up every day going, okay, who can we shoot, who can we rob, who can we commit offense against?
But that's the purpose of having it, in case something like this happens. No, I completely agree, Wallace. And here's the crazy thing. Now, this story that I pulled from the Wichita Eagle was the day after, on Saturday the 29th, when this story was reported here. So they may have updated, and I hope they updated it since then. But they were like, oh, it was unknown whether that 16-year-old had a firearm. Come to find out, all 4 of them did. They all 4 had the firearms, and if you have a gun in your face trying to take your stuff and you have a concealed carry, the whole purpose is to defend yourself. That's what you do. Why are we focusing on the suspect defending himself and saying, you better justify that you shot somebody, as opposed to saying, why were they robbing in the first place? Back after this. If you're on the phone, stay here. We'll be right back.
The latest news from the Big Talker, KQAM.
It's time for the opening bell to be ringing on Wall Street, with investors worried about pre-market trading that indicated big losses are possible today. Correspondent Steve Kastenbaum tells us it's part of a worldwide wave.
Markets in Asia and Europe were down significantly on the first trading day of the new year. Prices fell in the wake of a negative report out of China. The data show that manufacturing contracted in the month of December in the world's second largest economy. It bolstered fears of a global slowdown, and investors on Wall Street were not immune to that concern.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, House Democratic Leader Nancy Pelosi, and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer all plan to attend a White House briefing on border security this afternoon. This as the government remains partially shut down over funding for the border wall that President Trump wants to start building. And stocks are already making a plunge, the Dow off 372 points. I'm Michael Toscano.
When you're hiring, some job boards make you sort through tons of the wrong resumes, which makes finding a great candidate like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. That's not smart. Then there's the smart way at ZipRecruiter. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter finds great candidates for you. That's why you should try it now for free. Their powerful matching technology scans thousands of resumes to identify people with the right skills, education, and experience, and actively invites them to apply to your job, so you get qualified candidates fast. And while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds what you're looking for, the needle in the haystack.
ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. That's based on hiring sites on Trustpilot with over 1,000 reviews. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Kansas Mid-America Network News. Good Wednesday. Union Pacific Railroad says an employee died in a train-related incident in western Kansas this past weekend. Spokeswoman Hannah Bolt said the employee died Sunday night in Oakley, the county seat of Logan County. Union Pacific said no other details were available immediately because the investigation into the death is ongoing. A Kansas judge has ruled that the state cannot block telemedicine abortions. The ruling on Monday from District Judge Franklin Thies will allow women to continue getting abortion pills from a Wichita clinic without having doctors there, and will permit the clinic to offer the pills to women in rural areas. The judge ruled that a law against telemedicine abortions set to take effect this month has no legal force. And Wichita's Eisenhower National Airport recorded its biggest numbers ever in November as far as flights arriving and departing. Mid-America Network News. When it comes to the trailer you're hauling behind your vehicle, whether it's a big rig or a pickup truck, MJ's Truck Repair at exit 46 off I-135 in Mound Ridge, Kansas has your back. Doonan and Chaparral drop decks, flatbeds, and heavy hauling trailers for the big rigs, along with gooseneck livestock trailers by Barrett. And for your pickup truck, the utility line of trailers from Rice with 5x10 to 8x20 boxes. MJ's Truck Repair, Mound Ridge.
Right now, when it's cold outside, you should be thinking about spring, because when spring arrives and the grass starts growing, you'll want to start mowing. And Maximum Outdoor Equipment wants you and your lawnmower to be ready by offering an Oregon Parts Winter Service Special. Maximum Outdoor Equipment uses genuine Oregon parts, and through February 28th, they're offering you a 15% discount on winter service labor or half-off pickup and delivery within a 25-mile radius. Don't wait until spring and get caught in a backlog with all the folks who didn't get their mowers serviced over the winter. Save time and money by taking advantage of Maximum Outdoor Equipment's Oregon Parts Winter Service Special, which ends February 28th. See Winter Service Special details online at MaximumOutdoor.com or give them a call at 943-0201. Maximum Outdoor Equipment is the small box store that knows mowers, just south of Kellogg on West Street.
Maximum service, maximum value, Maximum Outdoor Equipment.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, sunny and clear, high around 38, low tonight around 22. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and 44, partly cloudy and 25 tomorrow night. Warming trend continues for Friday, sunny and clear, high 52, low 29. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 8:35, it's currently 19 degrees.
Call the Voice of Reason now on the ABC Recycling phone lines at 721-8255. This is the Big Talker, KQAM. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier, your personal political therapist. Give him a call at 721-TALK.
35 minutes past the hour. Welcome back into the Voice of Reason. I'm watching I don't know if I can get the audio from this or not. I'm assuming there's nothing bad in it, because she's trying to be all like presidential-like, with Elizabeth Warren making her announcement of her exploratory committee running for president of the United States. There's a video of her trying to look like she's actually relatable to the general public. And I'll see if I can play a little bit of this. As she's over the weekend, and she's at her home, and she does some kind of live video feed, and she cracks open a beer, and she's drinking out of a beer bottle, which is fine, all great and dandy. That's great, but she's doing it like she's totally trying to relate to the people. It's hysterical looking. as she has a relatable New Year's beer with Elizabeth Warren and just a fireside chat. And I don't know if there's anything worth listening to on this or not, but she... Oh, here we go.
You want a beer?
No, I'll pass on the beer for now.
You sure? Come over and say hello.
Yeah.
So, this is my sweetie.
Hello.
And I'm crazy.
I love you.
I love you too. Thank you for
Oh, trying to be all sweet. You want a beer? It's now I don't know if she's a regular beer drinker or not. I have no idea. Maybe she is. But the long neck bottle, the way she cracks it open, she throws the bottle cap on there, and hey, you want a beer? Hey, you want a beer there? Let's do it. Let's drink a beer. To me, she's not the beer drinking type. To me, she reminds me of like a Laura Kelly that's really just, I mean, I know she's got a little bit more fire in her than like a Laura Kelly here in Kansas, but, you know, she's the older, she's like what, 65, 68, you know, an older woman, and she, you know, probably likes a glass of wine more so, but trying to be relatable to the common folk as she's about ready to run for president. Hey, have a beer, cracks. I mean, come on, if she has an exploratory committee running for president, you already know that she's got consultants telling her what to do and what not to do. Why she would do a live video feed on New Year's when she's never done a live video feed really before is purpose, because she's trying to be relatable to the general public. Hey, you want a beer? Hey, crack open a beer. Hey, you want a beer? Let's drink a beer.
Who have we got here so far? Skylar, and 14 others. Hello, Denise. Hi.
Wow.
Fortnite. Good to see you.
She has no idea what she's doing right now.
Got? Kenny, is that right? Kenny and the boys? Oh, glad to see you. Is that Greenie Goddess? Wow. That's a name I'd like to have.
Wow. And then she sits there and has to tip back the beer. Tip it back.
So, or
There you
as
go.
my mother always referred to me, the surprise.
It's kind of a montage there, but yeah, all right. So she has no idea what she's doing, making a fun YouTube video feed because apparently that's going to make her relatable to the general public and to the us common folk who like to have an adult beverage and a beer once in a while. Sit back, hey, you want a beer? Let's go. I never imagined that from her. There you go. The Democrats making a surprise already in 2019. Welcome in 316-721-8255. Back to the ABC Recycling Studio lines here. Line number 2. Good morning. Who's this?
This is Eddie.
Hey, good morning, Eddie. How are you, sir?
I want to comment on the situation that occurred on 27th and South Seneca Street.
Absolutely.
Look, that's close to where I live. Okay, let me tell you something. Between the Pawnee Street to the north and 31st Street to the south, businesses have been being robbed. It's a very violent area for businesses being robbed. A 19-year-old was killed by a shoplifter in the Westway Shopping Center. That's a few blocks right in there. Okay, a sheriff's officer was shot and killed in the grocery store parking lot at 31st and South Seneca Street. A Wichita police officer was shot by a shoplifter at the Dillon store. A security guard at the Dillon store was run over by an individual that had grabbed a lady's purse and pushed her down
But Eddie, with all of these types of stories, why are we focusing so much on a criminal actually doing bad things? Why are we not focusing on the fact that, this case, there was a 16-year-old that died because a customer who had a concealed carry defended himself, and a 16-year-old criminal ended up dying? I mean, that should be the focus. We should start taking away the guns. It sounds like we should start taking away vehicles and driver's licenses as well. So if one less car was on the road, then maybe one less death would happen. It would totally be worth it. Right, Eddie?
Well, it's like this. If any time, and I'm a firm believer in this, listen, I was a victim of my wife and I and a 16-year-old girl was a victim when I was age 27 of a very violent crime committed by an 18-year-old and two 17-year-olds. Anyway, we survived that just fine. But getting back to this shooting, I don't give a rat's ass how old you are. You have a gun and you point at me, what you're saying is, I'm going to kill you if you do not do exactly what I say. Okay? It is automatically assumed that you're going to pull the trigger and kill somebody if you pull a gun on somebody. And if you get shot and killed, I'm not going to say you got what you deserve since the kid was only 16, but if you're going to be in a grown-up world, expect to have grown-up things happen to you. Yes, he got shot. Yes, he's dead. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Those other 3 should be tried and convicted and sent to prison for the next 20 years. I'm sick and tired of these damn youngsters thinking they can pull off crimes like that and get away with it and say, well, I'm just young. I don't care. Throw their asses in jail forever.
Well,
Crime has to stop. I don't care how old you are. Crime has to stop. But like I said, I was a victim. And my wife and a 16-year-old girl, an 18-year-old, 2 17-year-olds. Were they convicted? Well, the 18-year-old's father was an elected Sedgwick County official, and it was harder than hell getting even charges pressed against the three, believe it or not.
Wow.
But I did have a friend in the district attorney's office. But what I'm saying is, Andy, if you're going to play grown-up in a grown-up world, and if you get shot, I don't want to hear their parents whining and crying or anything like that.
Sure.
That's just the way it is.
Well,
and if people don't like what I say, hell, they can move out of this country and go to live in a country that's wherever they want to live. But if you play with the big boys, expect big boy punishment, and that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Well, there it is, Eddie. I appreciate that. And look, I mean, whether you throw them in prison, whether you have a 20-year sentence, whether, it's dependent on, whether they shot somebody, whether they just robbed somebody, whatever it is, I don't care. Here's how you get rid of the crime, and this is evident of that, and this is what the message should be going forward, is that if we have more citizens on the streets with concealed carry weapons that know how to use them and are not afraid to use them when that time arises, then we're going to see less crime. Because you're right, these kids that are thinking that they can get away with everything, that are not afraid to just go in and rob if they feel like they need to rob something, that feel like they are on top of the world and that they are invincible, when they hear these stories over and over and over again that a kid died and this person died and that person died because they were trying to do something illegal or bad and they got shot in the process doing it because a good citizen had a firearm, then it's going to make them second guess, or at least in my mind it would make them second guess wanting to do that. And eventually they will think about it twice, saying, hey, maybe I should see how many people actually may potentially have guns in this place. Maybe I won't do this. Now, if you're to the state of desperation, which I know some are going to try and play that side of it, maybe that's a conversation to be had. Yeah, do we need to work on certain communities? Absolutely we do. Do we need to try and get the economy going? The economy is going very well, which means there's less need for many different places to actually have to have crime and to rob and to steal and to do those bad things. So let's start defending ourselves and protecting ourselves and focus on that story. This headline from the Wichita Eagle should be a hero with a concealed carry firearm fires back and shoots back and defends himself and pushes back against robbers. That should be the story. That should be the headline. Not, oh, the 16-year-old died and it's terrible, and maybe we should start looking at ways that 16-year-old kids don't die anymore as by taking away the guns, and that was totally unacceptable for that type of punishment for the crime that they committed. Because that's how the narrative has now been, according to the media. 316-721-8255, line number 4. Good morning. What's your name?
Hey, Arrivederci, my man.
Mr. Sean, Happy New Year, see. How you doing?
Hey, well, I'm alive.
That's a good day. That's a good day right there. What do you think, Elizabeth Warren? You think she's going to pull it off?
It sounds like to me she's an alcoholic, man.
Well, she would have a beer with Brett Kavanaugh. What do you think? Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
She could have a beer with Brett Kavanaugh. They could really get along just great.
Yeah. That'd be like me putting up a video, announcing an exploratory committee to run for president. And, and then I whip out some weed and say, hey, Andy, you want to hit this doobie?
Oh, man. Actually, there was a story. I don't even remember what company it was. A CEO of some major corporation went on the Joe Rogan podcast, which I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan. I like his stand-up comedy. I like his podcast. I think it's very insightful. I don't always agree with him politically, but I think he tries to look at things a little bit deeper. And some CEO of some major corporation took a hit of marijuana live on the video recording of the podcast with Joe Rogan, and now he's being forced to step down because he was trying to be relatable and trying to be cool, and he sat there and smoked a joint with Joe Rogan on the podcast, and they were in California, so it was legal, but the company's making him step down from that now, so well done on that part.
Oh, man. Well, all the hypocrisy.
Yeah, there it is.
It's like being a conservative working for one of those tech companies out there, one of the big ones, Microsoft or whatever. Facebook, or something like that.
That one. There you go.
Yeah. But anyway, well, as far as this hadn't walked in there swinging a gun, he wouldn't have got shot. Simple
as that. Yeah, there it is.
So he'll never do that again. That's for sure.
Well, that's very true. And hopefully the ones that he was with, the other youngsters that were there with him, may second guess that as well and be like, oh, our best friend just got shot because we did something stupid. Maybe I'm not going to do that. Maybe this will be the wake-up call. I don't know.
Well, you never know. Yeah, God works in mysterious ways, and he works miracles. You know, he can save anybody, no matter how much of a scumbag they are. He can.
Oh, sure, and that's and look, I mean that kind of salvation, that kind of judgment isn't left to us. That's for the big man upstairs. All we do is just enforce the laws that are on our books, and we have the right to defend our property and our life and our way of life, and that's what we do. And that's what this individual did. That ended up shooting back with his gun as a concealed carry owner who was getting robbed, and that's all he did. So you know what? There's in my eyes, at least, there's no judgment there because he defended his right to life.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't, and I darn sure wouldn't wait for the bad guy to shoot first because, you know, he may get me. So, you know, it's kind of like in war. I mean, Obama put down these one of these ridiculous rules of engagement where, you know, if the bad guy is hiding behind a child or a woman, you know, you don't shoot, and therefore you get this medal for courageous restraint, which is more than likely probably given posthumously because while you're holding your fire, that guy's firing away at you from behind that woman or child. But in the French Foreign Legion, they teach those legionnaires that, hey, if you have to, shoot right through that woman or that child to kill the bad guy.
Well, sometimes you have to do that. You're right.
It's going to be you.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but you know that's unfortunately the way the world goes. Sean, I love it. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Appreciate it very much. I want to sneak in some more phone calls here before we have to wrap up. Line number 1 from the ABC Recycling Studio lines here. Good morning. What's your name?
Danny.
Hey, good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good.
Good. What you got for us?
Oh, I think those kids ought to study up on Billy the Kid, man.
Well,
that's the story. That's all needs to be said. Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid. You know what? And I know they always joke and say, "Oh, you know, the Kansas and Oklahoma, we're just like the, you know, the old Western times." And oh, do they even have TVs and all? Just the Western shootouts at high noon, sort of thing. But you know what? Crime was actually really low when you actually had everybody around with a gun on their shoulder, and the only ones that would do stupid things were the ones looking to do stupid things.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That is a fact, what you just said there. I'm pretty much into Westerns, and that's the truth, man. They didn't want to take their chances if somebody was carrying.
No. And here's the other thing, trigger warning for all the other ones that don't like the guns. Everybody had a gun on their hip, whether it was the cattle driver, whether it was the farmer, or whether it was the sheriff or the gunslinger that was coming into town. Everybody had a gun on their hip, and it didn't scare anybody. It was crazy.
You talk pretty big for a man that ain't going heels.
There it is. Hey, I love it. And I tell you what, I'm right there with you with the Westerns. My grandpa reads so many Western books, and every time he reads one, he gives them to me. I have hundreds of Western books on my bookshelf at home, and I love reading them. I'm a huge Ralph Compton fan, Louis L'Amour. But Ralph Compton's kind of my favorite. The Gunslinger series that he wrote, I don't know if you've ever read that one from Ralph Compton. It's about a 5-book series. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is probably one of my most favorite series to read.
Oh, it's great. I have it right in my collection, man. I've got them all.
Hey, that's good stuff right there. I love it. Hey, Happy New Year too, my friend. I appreciate it. See, you know what? The good stuff there, I do. I love, if there's 2 types of books that I read, and that are political books that are very tough to get to at times because they're very dry, but the political books, but then the Westerns. I could read Westerns all the time. And you're right, the way it was back then, the only ones actually causing trouble were the ones that actually wanted to cause trouble. Other than that, most people did turn away from that because everybody had a firearm, and it was kind of each your own. And you realize, as we've talked about the theme of the show today, is that nothing is guaranteed. You don't have a guaranteed paycheck just because you work for the federal government. You don't have a guaranteed life just because you feel like you can do whatever you want to and wave a gun around in a convenience store trying to rob it and then get away scot-free. Nothing is guaranteed, and it's time for us to wake up and realize that. Just because we live in a cozy lifestyle in a first world country does not mean that everything's guaranteed for us. Kind of the theme of today. I like it. Appreciate it very much. Let's sneak in some more phone calls here, shall we? Line number 2. Good morning. What's your name?
Randy, this This is Helen.
Good morning, Helen. What you got for us?
Well, going along with your theme of no guarantees in life, at least not guarantees in life and the flesh. James chapter 4, verses 13 through 15. Go to now, a modern terminology is come on now. Ye that say, today or tomorrow I will go into such a city and continue there a year and buy and sell and get gain. 14, whereas ye know not what be on the morrow. For what is your life, your flesh life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away. 15, for that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. So there's this entitlement mentality is socialism.
No, you're right. I mean, it's entitlement from the ground up. This is the way they were taught, is that they can get away with whatever they want to. They're entitled to whatever they want, and if it's not given to them, they're going to go out and take it because they feel that they can have whatever they want. And this is the mentality that needs to go away. Again, my New Year's resolution, my political New Year's resolution, is that we're not going to deal with that type of mentality. We're going to go after the media if they try and make a sob story from a criminal because he was doing something stupid and he got what was coming, because we have the right to defend ourselves in that sense. I appreciate it, Helen. Happy New Year to you. Love the phone call very much. Got to take a break. Got some other calls on the line. Don't go anywhere. We'll have time to sneak in here when we come back. Wrapping up the show today, the very first one of 2019. It's going to be a crazy year. Stay right here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier. Opening markets on KQAM. Brought to you by Schmidt & Sons of Mount Hope and Winfield.
Mixed in the livestock, mixed in the grains and soybeans. We're going to start our, it's actually Wednesday, I guess, the first marketing day of 2019. Brett Krotz is along with all the information. Good morning, Brett.
Good morning. Well, kind of choppy so far today. February live cattle currently down 2. That's at 123.85. The April live cattle down 5 at 126.20. In the feeder cattle, though, a little more pressure. January down 70 at 148.15. March down 52 at 146.22. In the hog market, the February contract up 67 at 61.65. April up 47 at 67.55. Over in the grain markets, March Kansas City wheat unchanged at 488 3/4. The July down 1/4 cent at 512 1/4. In Chicago, the March wheat down 1.5 pennies at 501 3/4. July down 1.25 pennies at 517 1/4. March corn up 1/4 cent at 375 1/4. July unchanged at 390 3/4. March soybeans up 2 cents. That's at 8.97. July up 2 1/4 at 9.22 1/2. And then March oats down 1.25 pennies at 2.74. March cotton down 68 points at 71.52. February crude oil down 78 cents at 44.63. February natural gas down 2 cents at 2.92. We've got June gold up 4.50 at 12.98.70. March silver down on nickel at 15.49. The March dollar index currently 60 points higher. That's at 96.33. And the March Dow Jones future sharply lower, down 332 at 22,944. And for information on these and the other markets, please call us at Schwieterman Incorporated, 1-800-272-9131.
For decades, white planters have earned a reputation for boosting yields and profits. Now they've taken a quantum leap forward with the addition of precision planting, world-renowned technology. This is Leroy, the tractor man from Schmidt & Sons. Did you know that precision planting technology is fully integrated into your equipment straight from the factory? Right now, you can demo the 9800 VE Series planter, which takes the trusted systems white planters have used for years and combines them with precision planting's innovations for an even higher level of performance. It's all designed to give you more speed so you can plant faster while still getting the seed exactly where it needs to be. More accuracy, one seed per space, and seed spacing consistent across the entire width of the planter, and higher yields with real-time data to help you make better decisions. White planters and precision planting. We've combined two proven brands into one fantastic value. Find out more at Schmidt & Sons, your white planter dealer, located in Mount Hope and Winfield, or check us out on the web at schmidtinc.com.
Mark Collier at Collier Allstate knows mayhem can happen at any time in Kansas. Whether you live in the city, one of Kansas's great small towns, or out in the Great Plains, Mark and Allstate will protect you from the effects of mayhem. Home, health, life, or business, Mark and his great staff will help you find the best protection. Mayhem is guaranteed to come. Let the Mark Collier Agency help you through it. Mark Collier, the Collier Agency, 204 North Main in Goddard. Give them a call at 316-413-4014 and on Facebook at Collier Allstate.
News at the tops and bottoms all day, right here on the Big Talker, KQAM.
We got about a minute and a half before we wrap up the program today on a Wednesday. Welcome into it, a brand new 2019 episode of The Voice of Reason. Great to have you along today. Let's go back to the ABC Recycling phone lines and sneak in a couple more here before we wrap up. Line number one. Good morning. What's your name?
It's Danny again.
Hey, what's going on, sir?
Hey, Danny. Hey, Andy, I just wanted to remind you, Gunsmoke was the longest-running show on TV till they got politically correct. Just remember that.
That's
Good day,
a great
Andy.
point. Hey, have a good one. I appreciate that. Gunsmoke, you're right. That's it was on there for a long time, and that was a great show for sure. Absolutely love it. All the Western. Here's the crazy thing, and here's my little nitpicking of the day. Western movies today, why can't we get American actors to play American cowboys? Doesn't that bother anybody else? The last one I watched, and don't get me wrong, there's some really good Westerns out there. The last one I watched, I think, well, no, I take that back. One of the few that I watched recently was 3:10 to Yuma that was made, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And everybody's in it's either British or Australian. You got Russell Crowe. You had Christian Bale. You did have Peter Fonda. I guess he was about the only one, but he died early in the movie. But you can't get an American actor to play an American Western. And I will say a great one that came out just recently was Diablo. That was Eastwood, not Clint Eastwood, his child, Scott Eastwood was in there. Diablo. That was an amazing movie. Did enjoy that one. Anyways, back to the old Western days. You know what? There's a reason that it's held up so nicely is because of the fact that it was commonsensical, it was individualism, and you could do whatever you needed to do to survive, a thing that we've forgotten in today's society. Everybody have a wonderful Wednesday. Let's bring that kind of mentality back in 2019. This is The Voice of Reason. Have a great day.
In January, everybody's wallet could use a little spending break, and at Yoder Meats we can help with that. This month we are offering our cheapest bundle of the year, only $57. The January bundle includes ground beef, minute steaks, sirloin steaks, pork chops, and chicken breast, all for just $57. If you're looking for an even better deal or a little less meat, the butcher bag is $28 this month. Follow us on Facebook for the latest information and weekly specials. Taste the old-fashioned flavor at Yoder Meats in Yoder and 3 locations in Wichita.
Wichita RV is celebrating its 30th year anniversary by bringing you the Wichita RV and Outdoor Show January 16th through the 20th at Hartman Arena. Don't be fooled by pretenders. Shop this year's Wichita RV and Outdoor Show and take advantage of the best savings of the year on a huge selection of new and used RVs in every price range. Great deals and special financing only during the show. Free admission for military, first responders, and children under 12. Wichita RV and Outdoor Show at Hartman Arena January 16th to the 20th.
This is a Steckline communication station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita Proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by Augusta Flight Center. With the largest and most diverse fleet of rental aircraft